Yeah, go for it.
Ah, episode 44, bitches. Welcome to another episode of the Nissan Nerd Podcast. We are doing it for you right here on the top side. Make sure you tip your waitresses and your bartenders. We're going to have the ladies dancing for you all night like the Boom Boom Hour is here, gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Tell them what they won.
Let's go for it. That's Miles Hall on the ones and twos. My name is Mike DeLashmutt. Here on the Nissan Nerd Podcast, we are going to share new details that were leaked about the Nissan Z's sales release. We learned that the e.dams team gains new ownership. And as part of our back alley chat, we're going to share an awesome true story that happened to us during Super Lap Battle. So that's coming up. Stick with us here on the Nissan Nerd Podcast. Coming up. Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
All right.
Oh my God! You know what I was thinking about that intro, Miles? Was I think we need to do a segue. You know how the video just stops immediately, and it's we're just stuck there like deer in the headlights. Look oh, here it is. We need to we gotta learn our segue or transition skills to get better at it though. But I like it.
I apologize for nothing, and I'm going to say that I'm amazing. If anything, I'm carrying this show all the time, every day. This is
I'm going to keep my judgment to myself on that one.
all right.
We definitely, you do a great job, by the way, man. You are
I appreciate that. If we're going to do the coworker appreciation day,
I had
bosses,
the balloons.
Is it Boss's Day?
Yeah, that's they're in the mail, man. They're headed to you. This work from home thing isn't working too well with the balloons
No,
thing.
it's not.
Yeah.
It is not working with the balloons. They're just, unless they're Mylars, they are just wasting money. All right, moving on. So,
Miles, I'm going to stop you right there, man. Listen, I need to set the air. I need to clear the air, if you will. Over the last 2 weeks, man, I have gotten questions from family regarding these posts that we're giving on the Nissan Nerd Podcast to our Facebook page because they all involve me on a female body, and I'm literally getting my family asking me is there something that you're not telling us? That's what I'm getting, dude, and it's all because of you. You and your face app. They're funny, don't get me wrong, dude, but dang, you have been laying it on heavy these last 2 weeks.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
Rebuttal? Yeah, what's your rebuttal?
I apologize.
I
never apologize. I'm just kidding. I never.
Yeah, I knew you never apologize.
I totally do not care about your feelings whatsoever, and I will continue to hound you and destroy you emotionally and any other figurative manner. So I just want to tell you though that I love you, man, and to me this just empowers you, if anything, about just how beautiful your face. I mean, look at that right there. It's just
yeah. Shut up. You're telling me I'm fierce and brave? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just going to tell you right now, man. I've used your face on the gender swap app, and dude, you shouldn't go to prison. That's all I'm going to say right now.
I will not fare well. Is that what you're saying?
You will not fare well in prison. I'm telling you right now. No.
It's not the first time I've said it. I would have been a sexy bitch. That's all.
But I will try to bring a stronger game than what I've been coming. Because honestly, this is B Squad. I do apologize to all our Nissan Nerd fans that absolutely love these. And I will definitely try to step my game up and produce something a little sexier than this. All right, we can do better. We can do better.
You picking my nose now? Oh,
I got you. Just
stop.
All right.
Stop.
Moving on. We got work to do today. All
Yes, we
right.
do.
So, well, actually, before we kind of begin, let's acknowledge who we got partying with us tonight. Anybody on just yet? Let me see here.
We do have some followers here on social media that are with us. Thank you for being here. And
Yeah. Talk to
it-
us, yell at us, comment to us, tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong, tell us what we needed to be told in the sheets to get it right. All right. So we're gonna move on with our nights. But again,
yes.
thank you all for coming. Mike, let's do this compi. Let's start this
Woo!
party off.
Let's do it, man. I guess I'll do the honors this time around. As we say here, this is a salute to those in the Nissan family. We wish good health. And for those who we may have lost, let us be reminded of them always. Let's say kanpai. Kanpai.
Oh.
Yeah. Woo.
All right. All right, Mike, what is the first? You were leading out the news tonight. Let's throw it down, man. Get on it. Let's
Let's
party.
do it, man. Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen just here. This is actually a story that we don't get to touch on very often. This is actually an international story. It's more than just Nissan. It's more than just news for Nissan nerds. This is literally a international relations story at its core in some ways. And let me go ahead and get into it here. We're talking about the former Nissan director and former Gozen aide or Gozen. I've been corrected a few times this week.
Gone.
He's
Boom.
gone. He's gone. Yeah.
He's gone.
Former Goen aide Greg Kelly was actually in court in Japan. There has been a legal proceeding in Japan for the last 18 months. And just yesterday, literally less than 24 hours ago, he was found guilty and sentenced to financial misconduct charges in Japan. Now, Japan in general, their court is you don't want to mess with them. They have a 99% conviction rate. Typically, if they press charges on you, you're going down. Like there's no getting out of that. They're pretty thorough in their decision whether or not to press charges in the first place. But
so
yeah.
you if you're gonna get in trouble, you probably want to jump in a drum case and try to make your way out.
Well, or like other people. Yeah. Well, that's and you're absolutely right. The story with Greg Kelly is that he was again an aide for Goen, and he was arrested the same day as Goen in November of 2018. Since then, let me see here. Greg Kelly, he is an American, by the way. He's American that was living in Japan. Arrested the same day as Goen. He This is actually pretty crazy. Goen decided to jump into a music box and get the hell out of the country, and he leaves his friend to hang. He was, what do they put here?
Patsy.
He's pretty much he is essentially the only thing that the Nissan that the Japan courts can press against regarding this whole.
I'm just gonna say, was there not room in the box for this dude?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's a cello box. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and Goen's like,
yeah, all right, I'll see you guys there.
and he just jumps in his box and he rolls the hell out. And then this guy Kelly is like, he's trying to figure out which gang he's gonna join, and it's like,
the Thunderdome, bitch.
I mean, who wants that on their first day of prison? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
but yeah, he'll do fine in prison. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, so Kelly, Greg Kelly was he's 65 currently. Now here's the thing: he was found guilty and he was sentenced. However, the sentence was a 6 months suspended sentence. Now they've already spent 18 months in Japan, so essentially he's a free man. He's done his time. He's actually probably right now on a plane headed back to his home in Tennessee. So that's
really?
yeah. So and this is where we started getting into the whole international relations thing I was telling you about earlier, which is this is an American on foreign soil getting sentenced. Now, relations between Japan and U.S. are very good right now, and they want to maintain that. So, there were a lot of diplomats on both sides of the table really kind of positioning, trying to smooth everything out. So in some cases, some opinions in this article and in some of the comments that were taken for this article were saying that this was sort of it's supposed to be treated as a victory. And in some ways, you're kind of saving face. Essentially, you're saying, hey, we got him for something. We can actually have a little bit of closure to this whole scandal. Of course, we're only talking about the aid. There's no need. We've already done it already, which is about Goen and his whole scandal that had been going on with his failure to disclose compensation with Nissan. I think that's in a summary is what we're talking about, though. But I do gotta say, yeah.
This is a Nissan podcast, and honestly, you and I have talked about this offline. And it's one of those things like, do we want to bring? Do we need to talk about this? And does it bring shame, in a sense, to the brand? And this is all honesty, and us as avid supporters of the brand, I felt that we needed to kind of talk about it, shed some light. We are, of course, joking and poking fun at a couple things here,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, it's we're moving past it as a brand, and Nissan is just flying through the stratosphere right now with all the launches that are coming out and the complete change that they made. It was kind of, and I hate to say it was kind of a mixed blessing, but a lot of this happened pre-COVID, which, and I've said this before, if you go back and listen to some of my podcast data or the podcasts that we've done in the past, where Nissan was actually in a position where they were making these massive company changes before pre-COVID. So when COVID hit, they were in the best, to me, they were in one of the best financial positions because they have already had start cutting back, start focusing on essentials, building the brand back up from the ground up again. And we've talked about that before. And I really think that there was some definitely something that aided in that there was a mixed blessing here. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, now what I was going to say, Miles, too, is that and you are right. You got to think about it. This whole going events happened, it's been almost 2.5 years, 18, 19, 20, 23, over 3 years since this actually happened. So, yeah, and you're right. I mean, there was a lot of challenges to be made, at least standing to where we are right now. I think the strategy that Nissan has had since then has been very, very good. And the response is looking very, very good. Of course, we're mentioning all the new development in EVs. The Frontier is selling like hotcakes right now, receiving multiple awards. You got the Araya. I know we debate on that one, but they have a super long reserve list for those being released, and then everybody's clamoring to get the new Z. So, I mean, I still see they've persevered. Nissan as a company has persevered. There is one thing you got to know as
chip
well.
Shortage. Don't forget about the chip shortage.
They were ahead
of the game. They were ahead of the game on the chip shortage stuff. I mean, they've got all this crazy tech that's getting ready to drop. I mean, they're doing they cut back on their motorsports, but they didn't get out of it completely. I mean, something can be said to that. Yeah, we never like cutbacks, but guess what? Sometimes you got to cut back to save, and then come back harder at a later time. So
it is true. It is true. I think there's really some closure to this, though. I do need to mention as well, though, that Nissan did. They were found guilty in some other what they called. I had the word here. Financial misconduct. I'm sorry, financial misconduct. Sorry. Oh my God, I have my notes here. Dysfunctional governance. So there was a fine to Nissan for 1.75 million for dysfunctional governance in this time, because they're essentially, it shouldn't have become an international thing had they been really keeping their books straight. So again, that could have just been another response for this Nissan owning up for what they're doing, though. But overall, again, this has actually already been done. We're finding some closure. And I think we're moving past.
We're done. We're already dating new people.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He treats me well.
Yeah, he was great. That's it. He's not on my Twitter feed no more. I mean, he's just out. That's it. We're done. We're finished. So
now I will say, or go ahead.
No, that's all we're gonna say.
What I was gonna say, though, right? This sort of, pending, which I doubt will happen, though. Any sort of again, Goen is not. He's in a country that he cannot be extradited. So pending him leaving the country and getting caught, there's not much that's going to be happening past this point. So if you consider this part of this whole saga, this is probably nearing the end. So probably one of the last times that we talk about it.
Yeah,
As
well,
well.
we're probably never going to talk about it ever again unless something crazy happens. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess kind of good news for Gon. Too bad for the
Mm.
guy that, he didn't really go to prison. He's just getting a plane ride home. No peanuts for you. And then you got the other two people that kind of helped put Gon into a
Yes.
violin case.
They are
Unfortunately, those,
currently, and I looked them up as well. You know, we talked about it last time or in one of our previous episodes, but they are in Japan right now serving father and son, Mike and Pete Taylor. They are serving a 2-year sentence and a 1 year and 8 month sentence. So even though the director got the plane ticket, the guys who helped Goen leave is still in Japan. So literally everybody that Goen has been in contact with has had bad fortune, essentially since then. So, but again. Hopefully, this gives up some sort of closure for Nissan. And honestly, I can't wait to see the Lifetime movie that comes out because of this.
the Lifetime movie. It's gonna on the O or whatever it is.
Yeah, the O Network or whatever.
It'd be interesting if they make a movie out of it. Probably Netflix might buy it for like I don't know $50 or whatever. But,
Well, and you're right. And you mentioned a few things, and I had a few things written down here. You got to think about the combination of challenges that were happening at the same time. Again, you had this organizational dysfunction. You had COVID happening. You had this scandal happening. You have the whole face of the automotive market having this transition to EVs, which needs a lot of attention, but it's hard to have as much attention when you're in court every other day. You know what I mean? And then you've got a chip shortage, and then you got a music case. I'm just like, that's a nice combination for a movie that I would watch. Yeah, I would go to the dollar movie theater to watch that one for sure.
Yeah, for real. All right. So let's move on officially. For those that don't know, if we bring it up, you could slap our hands later on. But Gone is gone. It's done. We're finished. We're officially dropping that story from this point on, unless something crazy happens after that.
Yeah.
So we've got other bigger fish to fry. So what I wanted to kind of talk about is Z-Watch, as we've kind of named it as we keep going on. So
Yep.
a few. And we've been beating it to death talking about the Z since pretty much the beginning of our podcast because that's how long it's been kind of drug out here.
Mm.
But a lot of details have come out. Nothing bad against the new Z. We are super excited about it. It's an amazing machine. We've seen it in person. We've been at one of the launches for it, but we've also not had all the information that we've wanted from this. So one of the new details that have come out about the new Z is in fact the timeline, which was actually leaked here recently. And Mike, I'm going to steal the steering wheel for a hot minute. Let me see here.
Sure, no problem. Throw it at me.
Booyakasha, coming at you.
Coming at you. There you go.
All right. So, and that is the what was leaked here as of recently, the Z launch timeline. So this is actually was shared through the new NissanZ.com website. If you get a chance, if you're really interested, these guys have a lot of good data about the new Z. It's coming on. They're nerding out at another level. So kudos to them. But if you get a chance, this was dropped here recently, and this kind of gives you a layout of where we were. So this was kind of all ultimately planned, as it were. We had the reveal for the ZCon in August, and then we had the pre-launch. We're sitting around March right now, which apparently is the start of production. You've got media getting their first drives, your consumer reports, your everybody else who's going to be talking about it throughout the all the magazines who are going to be talking about it and expectations and what's coming of that car. But the reality is it's probably all going to pass with flying colors because we're talking about a platform that's already proven an engine that's going to just destroy everything out there. We've got a standard box. I mean, a redesigned platform. So I mean, you really can't go wrong. I think it's firing on all cylinders, as it were.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about what everybody's really been asking. It's like, okay, so we know that all this stuff is coming out. So when are we going to see this thing actually getting out to the market?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Let me see here. Jesus Christ, where is my dates? All right. I guess it's cut off here.
Ah.
Let me see here. Well, for those that don't know, it's the meat of the story, and I have no meat. So, wholesale release, start of sales, June.
June.
So that's when we're officially looking at it. So, for those that have done the pre-sales for, I don't know, I've only seen the people in Canada doing the pre-sales. I don't know if that is true. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of BS about people saying I already have my guy. I already got it in my garage. I'm like, calm down, people. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is pretty official right now, unless I know something from Dan the man or anybody else that we know at Nissan. We'll
Yeah.
let you know. But we just wanted to kind of give you a general idea of what was happening with the timeline for those that are just kind of biting to get that car.
Yeah.
Give it a little more time. Calm down. Ease. Goose fraba. Car's
Breathe.
coming.
Yeah.
Breathe. And then, but I did want to give you some good news. It's actually with the new Z. So for those that don't know,
Yeah.
all right, Mike, and I'm going to drop out and give me the steering wheel right back. But for
Gotcha.
those that are the virtual driving nerds that are out there, and we
Mhm.
know who you are, there is some good news. If you, unless you're living under a rock, there is the new GT7, which is actually being dropped this week. So the release date is actually on 3/5. So we are getting it in just a few days, the new GT7. And I have some really good news for our avid Nissan fans. So there is going to be a Z in the new GT7.
Oh, that looks nice. I like the picture. It's that Syrian blue. I think. Hopefully, I got the name right.
Yeah, but you know you should be able to flip through the colors. I mean, if you
That's
get it
true.
now, let's see if GT7 does it to where you can actually swap out the wheels, slam it, modify it. Because sometimes you get these new platforms and they never let you do it, so you have to rock the stock wheels for 1,000 years, and you can never modify anything. Remember that? Remember all
Yes,
that GT5? I'm not complaining, Sony.
dude.
I'm just
I,
saying.
I just played it the other day, man. I'm still playing. Again, call me old, man. I'm still rocking the GT5 on PS3 with the steering wheel, though.
Ain't nothing
I'm
wrong. Ain't
still
nothing.
having a great
No
time.
judgment. There's no
Yeah,
judgment zone. Go
yeah.
ahead. But I will say, yeah, it's actually it's coming out here pretty soon, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. But that is some really good news, but it's not the end of the good news.
Mm,
Well, there's actually a little bit more. Now, if I can direct you to my backdrop, not of the sexy
not.
lady that is just sitting behind me, there is some additional good news. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop this for you. Booyakasha. And if this looks a little familiar to you, whenever we have to do a Cup race, what does that tell you? We're gonna have a GTR Cup Series race within GT7. So that's
Nice.
pretty badass. And I mean, we're 32, 33, 34, 35,
Hmm.
Nismo 35. I mean, that's pretty badass,
So
dude.
they're having virtual cup races through the shared network. Yeah. Okay.
That's what we're going to talk about here too. So
Okay.
some of this is still rumor. Again, some of this is coming out. Usually what happens is they drop out GT7, and then if you have a manufacturer that is ultimately supporting Sony, they'll do live races. And this is what we talked about with GT Academy. That's exactly what happened with GT Academy. It dropped, competitions were gauntlets were thrown out there, and
Uh-huh.
winners were determined. Through a whole TV show. Remember that whole
Uh-huh.
thing? So but before we get into that, I want to talk about something else.
Okay. Beautiful cars there, looking Z's. Are you saying the same thing now? Are you saying that
I
it's
think I think we're gonna have a Club Z. Also, we're gonna have a little Cup series that's in there too, from what I can
yeah.
tell. So,
Gran Turismo and Nissan are no strangers. They've done a lot of
all
business in the
right,
past, so that makes a lot of sense.
and they exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. So, for those that don't know, get yourself a GT7. Get on the if you can get out there and buy it, steal it, whatever. But then you also got to buy, stab, steal, shank somebody's grandmother to get the PS5, because right now they are still in short demand. Don't get
Short
scammed.
supply.
Don't get
Yeah.
catfished on
Ah,
PS5. Trying to get
yeah.
it. Do not meet in dark alleys
Yeah.
to get yourself a PS5. Because guess
And,
what? You
and if
don't
it's in
want
a
to.
box, open the box. It could be a brick. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've heard stories, man. It will happen to
Don't be that
somebody.
guy. Don't be that guy. And don't let them duct tape a PS3 and a PS2 together down the middle. And that's like, no, it's not a 5. Just
Wow, wow, wow.
But for real, yeah, for those that don't know, the GT7 is probably going to be pretty Nissan heavy. We're pretty super excited about it. If anything else news comes through for GT7, we are avid fans of Gran Turismo. So again, anybody got any news, anything new coming down the pipeline, let us know. We will continue to keep you updated as we move forward with the next steps. Now, Mike,
Yeah.
we talked offline
Yes.
about a lot what's going on with the new Z. I know you got feelers about it. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to just kind of calm down a
Yeah,
little bit. But
you heard me
re-
rant, and I it wasn't. Yeah, I had a rant, man. You're gonna. Okay, okay.
you
So
want to talk about it, so
yeah,
talk
you're
about it.
right. You're right.
Sure.
And here's the thing: is that okay? We were just looking at that timeline. We're saying that the new Z is going to come out in June, and you got to think about it. The Z Proto was debuted, I believe, in August or September of 2020. So we were just at 2 years from the moment that the Z had been just any resemblance of his new Z to the time that it is actually hitting dealerships. 2 years. That is I mean, it's a very long time. I can't think of any other car that has done as long as a pre-promotion for a car like this. And I frankly, as someone who reports on it, I'm getting tired. Like, I just want to see the damn thing. I'm like, I'm tired of the rumors. I'm tired. I'm like, I mean, I don't know, man. Just uh, I don't want it to hurt Nissan. Now, let me give you an example. Lexus did okay. This is totally an exaggeration example, but you
I
remember
know
the
where you're going.
Lexus? Yes,
Go on.
Lexus had the LFA, which was just granted it was a huge flagship of a car. You know, all this carbon fiber and everything else. It was about a 10-year delay. However, by the time it came out, it was outdated. I mean, you had technology that was beautiful, but you could just get that same technology again. It was a thought that came out 10 years before. Had it come out on time, it would have actually been a car worth wanting, even for the price point. And even today, it's a
It wa-
sought after car.
there was a lot of hype. Yeah, it was a lot, and it is. But there was a lot of hype about it. But then ultimately, the sales weren't there. I mean, the hype was gone. You had a competition that was coming in, and
Yeah.
you dragged it out way too goddamn long, and then
Yeah.
boom,
And,
and then the car's gone. That's the end of it. And then you're just kind of sad, and then you're like, why aren't they making the LFA anymore? It was an amazing car, which, to its credit,
yeah.
it was an amazing car. But then you're just
Yep.
like, I can't get it no more, but I
Exactly.
have money. Oh,
But I have money.
just
I'm just saying, man. It's just been 2 years. I can't wait for it to come out. Again, I just don't want any of. I don't want it to hurt Nissan. Obviously, they've been doing it to really keep that hype up because even before the Proto had come out, you can't believe how much pressure Nissan was under from the Z community to get something out. So I understand the response, but this time in between it could also hurt them as well. So I want them to get their timing right. That's about it though. Last thing, you mentioned that the new Z is coming out for media tours and inspections and videos. Do we
correct.
qualify as media? That's us
We do
too, right,
not.
man?
We
Oh,
are just losers on a podcast. And guess what? We appreciate all our fans. Talking about that, actually, we do got to give a little thanks to some of our fans on with us
yeah,
tonight. The Bert's on with us tonight. Oh my God,
yeah.
Bert, he's blowing us up. Let me
It's
see what
good.
is. All right. Citizen is making a Z watch. If you haven't seen it, citizenwatch.com. Get woke. Damn. It's like we'll have to check that out.
I
Somebody
remember
needs to
that.
pull up that
Yeah,
website. Mike, or we'll go on from there. But
yeah,
released just in time for ZCon. Bert was right as well.
yeah.
Ion jumping in talking about the new GT7, Gran Turismo 7 coming out. This is going to be slick. Sick or slick. Need to get a PS5 now. Yes, you definitely need to sell some blood or semen. Get yourself a PS5.
Together.
You see here, separate jars, separate milk
Whatever.
jugs.
Okay, okay.
Tom Choi chimed in with us tonight. Says, "Wonder if they have a Nismo Z33." You know, it's a good question, man. That's one thing. It's like whenever some of this GT7 stuff or Gran Turismo comes out, and it's like it's so weird. Like there's certain cars from like certain Gran Turismo versions that I'm like, God damn, I want that car. Like I want this car and I want that. Like the IMSA Z32.
Yeah.
You know, I want that car. Why can't I? Why can't I just? Can we just throw that? Can I get that one? Don't even
Yeah.
talk to me about the Calsonic stuff. You
That
know,
would.
the JGDC stuff. I want all of them. I want everything. The
Yeah.
Pennzoil R34. Remember that guy? I want R33.
Mm,
Sorry, I want
sorry.
that guy. I mean, I want the
Yeah.
weird ones. I
I
really want the
I
weird
I
stuff.
wish PlayStation or whoever
Four.
the
You
developer
know,
is that they have some sort of outreach where if they can get a petition past a certain number, they would
hold
devote the
on.
money.
Well, remember,
Oh,
it wasn't GT7, it
it was
wasn't Gran Turismo,
Forza.
but Forza, an entire group of Nissan Subaru Sentra
Mhm.
fans actually petitioned to get that car into Forza, and
Mhm.
because it was such a heavy car for Mexico, that it needed to be represented right, and so many people sent in a lot of data and they petitioned it. I wish we would have had a finalized, that the Cinderella story at the end, but we was just like
Yeah.
a bunch of people
Well,
pitched on paper. Boom.
well,
That's all I
that's the
had.
thing. Like
So,
Grant,
oh,
Tom Choi came in here. Polyphony. Hopefully, I got that
dude.
right. That's the developer.
uh,
Take note.
yeah, interesting.
Listen. Get the involvement from the
I'm sure they
fans.
listen to our
Yeah.
podcast. Obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do.
Oh,
All of them. Everybody does.
they're,
Yeah.
they're avid listeners. But okay, all right, chat. I'm gonna put this on you right now. Throw me your best Nissan cars from any of the Gran Turismo seasons, if as a wish list on, and we'll talk
Ooh.
about it here in the next few months. Tom Choi brought up one of
Yes.
my favorite cars, the HKS Drag
Mm.
R32. Yes, yes,
I do
yes,
remember that one.
yes.
That was a beautiful car.
I'm gonna give him a little
Yes.
nerd because he deserves that one. That was a good call. I should have caught that. That's a bad right. Yeah, but man, there were some badass cars.
Oh
But
yeah.
that Pikes Peak Suzuki was just destroying. Remember that thing? It's like it would just hear that. Psh, psh, psh. That was. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to say Suzuki, but man, that car destroyed for me for the longest time. And if you bought the
Wow.
bonus packs later on, you pretty much just you got through so much more of the game so much faster. But anyway, we're gonna nerd out. But anyway,
This is what it's
wow.
about, though. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
the
were able to.
Scudo. Tom Troy brought up the Escudo. Yeah, good point. All right.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
if you can remember anything as we go through it tonight, we'll kind of bring back to the
Yeah.
Gran Turismo. So
Write in the
all
comments. We'll
right.
we'll share what we have.
So let's go ahead and go into motorsports because we do have a packed event tonight. We're
Yeah.
going to try to make this a little fast. So Super GT, for those that don't know, again, we've got the race coming up in April. I will obviously keep you folks updated when the first round happens here for Super GT. We'll put on the live links on the Facebook page and then now on our Instagram. So make sure you're checking our pages religiously, and we'll
Mhm.
definitely keep you up to date on everything that's happening with live feeds. We'll try to give you the good subtitled stuff because I know your Japanese is a little rusty, but we'll definitely try to keep you abreast as we move forward. But I do want to talk about one thing for Super GT. Now,
Uh,
Nismo actually, and Mike, give me the
hold
steering
on. Hold
wheel
on.
for
Oh, sure thing. Where you at? Where you at?
Booyakasha. Hit me.
There you are. Go
All
go for
right,
it.
so Nismo actually did an announcement here for their 2022 motorsports programs. Now we knew talking about 2021 that some of the programs were going to be a little limited, and we're starting to see just a little more creep of a little more money dumped into the motorsports aspect. Typically, Nissan kind of throws their budgets out here about this time of year or in April, so we start seeing how 2022 is going to be. Um, Presented for motorsports, for advertising, all those factions when the budget's kind of laid out.
Mhm.
So Nismo actually put it out there. This is actually available through the Nismo.com website. Obviously, for those that don't know, Nissan is really into Formula E. I think they're getting a lot of traction with that. Getting the success, ultimately getting the notoriety that they want with that. And this is kind of playing into all of their development that they have going on right now and innovation that is happening with a lot of the e technology.
Mhm.
Mike, do you want to say anything about that? Because I know you are the Formula E man right now.
Well, the Formula E technology is advancing at a very great pace. This year alone, just in Formula E, was the debut of the Gen 3 Formula E car, or the Formula. The new Formula has changed for 2022. Uh, these cars have increased their horsepower from 600 to 800 horsepower. Top speeds have changed from 175 to 200. You're really kind of getting into that F1 level of performance, top speed. It's getting so crazy right now is that a lot of these tracks that were being planned for this year are having to reconsider the layout of the track because these cars are getting uh, not only the weight and size faster. Um, these tracks need to accommodate that. They're no longer the small little 600 horse cars that
Well,
they were.
the inner city road courses that they were just doing make readies. I mean, at a
Yeah.
certain point, they were kind of ripping up the roads, and remember they were hitting like potholes and manholes in like certain parts of other
Hmm.
European countries, and it was like everybody knows that was the problem child at like turn 6 or whatever. I think it was like Mexico City or something like that. Everybody was hitting them, and they were just going out, and it was just like wow,
Slide
it was
a
taking
little
this.
bit.
Yeah, and it was like you're
Yeah.
pushing somebody to the outside, but you're pushing that guy outside to the manhole that everybody's hitting, and then the cars are getting all wonky and sliding out. Yeah. Anyway, or nerding
Hmm.
out. So my
Hmm.
apologies. But needless to say, again, going back to what we're talking about, Formula E. Obviously, Nissan has that in their sights, but don't be fooled. The Super GT 500 class, obviously, full support. You know that the new Z is coming out, as you can see it here. GTRs are going into the 300 class, from what we are being told and what the fielding is happening. But we are super excited to see what the new Z is going to do for the Super GT class. I hope it's going to kick ass and reign dominant supreme. So we'll see how it goes as we move through the year. Now, this is
Yeah.
where it gets a little interesting. Customer racing programs. It looks like they're thinking about doing a lot of the grassroots stuff or lower class stuff. So customer racing programs are coming through. That's the GT300 class. The Super Taikyu series that we haven't really talked about at all, but
Hmm.
apparently it's and I apologize if I get this wrong, but Okabaijidosha Motorsports and FKS Team Fukushima are scheduled to compete in the ST3 class, each with a Fair Lady Z. So that's going to be a class that looks like Nissan's going to be supporting. There's a Nissan Mechanics Challenge, and Nissan has a Nissan Automobile Technical College that will continue. And those guys, for you haven't been following them in the GT300 class with the GTRs, they've been kicking ass. Honestly, if you go back and watch last season, those guys were really doing well, and the races were amazing. Follow them through an entire race, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, there is engine supply programs. Me and Mike have talked about this in the LMP3 class stuff. That
Yep.
the VK56 is the platform that's being supplied for entire race seasons. Mike, you kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. So the Rolex, most recently, I want to say maybe a month and a half ago, we were covering the Rolex 24 hours at Daytona, I believe.
Correct.
And every entry in the LMP3 class was powered by a VK56 Nissan engine.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool to see. I think in total there was between 6 and 9 entries, if my memory is correct. And
Yeah.
those were Nissan sponsored. What this article we're talking about, that was a great example of what they were doing even in the 2021 program. It looks like this is actually going to be continuing into 2022. So the next 24 hours that we see at Daytona, we're going to continue to see the VK56 in action.
And for those that don't know, VK56s do rock. Get woke. Start, start
you've been a
stealing them
you've been a
now, ladies and gentlemen.
big
You too can
yeah.
steal a VK56 out of a Titan and make some magic happen. Just throwing that out there. So,
Yeah.
last thing I want to kind of talk about here is a Nismo Driving Academy. Again, some of this might know this, and I don't know if this is true, but I'm pretty sure this is what we used to call Nismo Performance Academy back in the day. I had an opportunity to go check this out way back when they were really pushing like the GT Academy stuff. I absolutely love this program. This is a very limited program where they kind of connect hardcore enthusiasts like ourselves
Mm-hmm.
And they basically put us together with an opportunity to really drive these cars. We're talking about like the Nissan GTRs, the Zs, the Skyline 400 R, which is like, come on. And that's what they're talking about for this next one. And I'm going to read it to you because I'm pretty excited about it. But there is a downside. I'll get to the end there. Nismo Driving Academy to connect road car users with motorsports. The academy will hold driving lessons for owners of Nismo road cars. The Nissan GTR, Z, and Skyline 400R. The lessons started in 2016 and have been popular with Michael Crum as the principal and Nismo drivers as instructors. Brian Highcutter as well. This activity is scheduled to be held at various circuits around Japan. Nismo Festival. Preparations for the Nismo Festival, a fan appreciation event, are planned. The schedule will be announced as soon as it's determined. So to me, that's pretty badass. The only thing is, you and I have to sell some blood and semen, get to Japan, and we might be able to attend. And maybe if people
Maybe.
recognize the mustache, we can maybe get in to watch these people have a good time.
You keep that thing waxed, okay?
I will keep this waxed. I keep this waxed. It's the mustache.
Yeah.
It crosses oceans. Anyway, but, but yeah, I'm super excited. The money's starting to come out. Motorsports is there. We'll still continue, for all those guys that are out there, grassroots racing in all these smaller events. Keep the faith, brothers. Keep the brand strong. We're with you. Now, on that note,
Yeah.
we actually wanted to talk a little bit about some other things. I know you want to kind of talk about Formula E. Mike,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you the mic. Get on it, homie.
All right. So again, we typically recap Formula E. Also, Miles, no racing action that we can cover within the last 2 weeks. In fact, the next Formula E race for the Nissan e.dams team won't be until April 9th and 10th. That is going to be a doubleheader, rounds 4 and 5 in Rome. So we're just about just over a month away. We'll be sure to provide more details as we see more articles pop up along the way, but not too much lately. Currently, the e.dams team is 8th as a constructor. They have 6 points. Now, it's still very, very early. Again, we've only gone through 3 races, 3 rounds. Rounds 1 and 2 weren't too good. However, it was round 3 that really gave us the points that we have. So we are currently 8th out of the 11 teams. Our 2 drivers, Sebastian Buemi and Maximilian Gunther, in their standings, Buemi is 13th. Gunther is a 16th as a driver. Now, again, don't count anything out yet. There is still so much for grabs. Nissan still has a very strong chance of really making a good impact. 16 rounds in total for 2022. Again, we're only in round 4 coming up, so we're about a quarter of the way through. Still lots of time to really make an impact. I was looking for articles to really share here over the last 2 weeks. I did find one. This was actually hard to find. This was not through any major Nissan outlet that we typically look at. This is through autosports.com. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on this. Let's go ahead and just talk about it here. 32-year-old former Formula One driver Charles Pic has secured an agreement to take over the e.dams racing team. What is e.dams? Well, if you think about it, Nissan e.dams, e.dams, there's a connection here that they're talking about. He has fully acquired control of the French racing team, taking over from the co-team principals. I believe they're brothers here. That I'm going to get the name. I'm going to butcher it. Droit. It's French. The brothers who had been in charge of the teams. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. Go.
All right. Anyway, so
I'm not saying your French sucks. Go on.
Yeah. Again, 32-year-old Charles Pic is taking control from these brothers that had been in charge since 2019. They did make it clear to know. Here he goes. The e.dams team, which currently competes in Formula 2 with its own team and runs the Nissan e.dams squad in Formula E. Now, they did make it important to know that the management and the teams will remain unchanged under the new ownership. Driver lineups and team personnel are staying the same, so there's nothing to really worry about. But there is essentially new ownership coming out of this, though. Now, Charles Pic, he is no stranger to the e.dams team. He has ties to it through his family as well. It says here that his grandfather supported former e.dams drivers throughout their careers, and actually his younger brother Arthur Pick raced for the team in Formula Renault 3.5 Series in 2012. So there is connections with this. The former owners do say that they were contacted and very quickly found his approach and vision in line with their own values and racing spirit. So that being said, this transition seems to be not a hostile takeover, a very clean, amicable transition from one team, one owner to the next. Again, very quiet. I think that you won't hear much, but then again, that's what we do as nerds. We're digging deep. And this goes with new ownership for the e.dams team.
We'll go like this. We're just going to spread it, and we're going to get in there.
That's what we
we're
do.
Gonna get in. That's it. That's it. We're going to get in there.
Garage. Hey, pop the hood.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood.
I'm gonna pop that hood. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna find out what you're running. I'm gonna get in the dirties. I'm gonna get in your DMs. And we're gonna find out about what you got going on. But again, congratulations, man, to that guy for picking that up. I mean, come on, deal of the century. So real. So I don't know. I think it's pretty badass. I did want to drop some knowledge on you. Our special guests tonight, we haven't really talked about that yet, did drop some knowledge on us tonight, and we're not going to tell you who he is just yet, so calm down, relax. We've got some information he dropped off. He said, by the way, the GT7 download drops tonight at midnight. So I didn't even see that. He was tapping on the door and let me know. And yeah, calm down. All right, stay in your room. All right, drink your water and your chips. All right. We know they're stale. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much racing as a whole. We are pretty much done. Now, Mike, you and I had an opportunity to attend a recent event. One of our favorite events, actually, that's comes around to our neck of the woods at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. We make the travel up there. We meet with some friends, and this is, of course, Super Lap Battle, which we've been promoting on the show for a hot minute. We love those guys. We love the energy. We love the show as a whole. It's cheap. The racing is amazing. He goes, everybody that's there is like super cool, and it's just it's the best community event that I have really gone to in the longest time. And if you haven't gone, get woke. Get your ass to a Super Lap Battle or a Grid Life event. Get woke. Come on now.
It's true. Miles, you did say it is this event, at least for me in the last 2 or 3 years, this has been more of a we spend more time socializing than we do actually watching track action sometimes, or that we'll be talking and all of a sudden we'll hear the car.
We do kiss a lot of babies and shake a lot of hands, but yeah. So
shaking babies, kissing hands,
shaking babies, kissing hands, whatever. It's all good, baby. But yeah, I mean, it's a great event. I agree, and you and I love this. We get a chance to hang out with our IT tech guy, Ion, who we absolutely love, and we get a chance to run into like half of our fan group, all of our buddies out of Texas who make the trip. We got people that kind of come in that we know and we don't know. We absolutely love it, and it's just a great event. And the guys who run it are super humble. We get to see some of the superstars that get to go there, like Mykojima, Dai. I mean, it never stops, dude. So, I don't know. To me personally, it's one of my favorite events to attend every single year. But you and I attended, and I'm going to go ahead and let you talk from here.
Gotcha. Again, Super Lap Battle itself, though, it is, for those who don't know, a time attack event. There was actually some cup racing in between the heats as well. This was a 2-day event. If you were a participant, you had 8 heats in total to compete. There were 5 different classes. Again, you can go to superlapbattleusa.com. Is it that the right site? I want to make sure I get it right here. It will be in the show notes as well.
Superlapbattleusa.com.
Yes, it is. superlapbattleusa.com is where you can go for details. By the odds, this has been the 4th year. I've been to all 4 personally. I've loved them, and there's no sign of them letting up. So this time next year, we'll be checking it out. And for those who are interested, go check out the website in general, though. We did see some Nissans compete along the way. I think from the results that I had, 6 in total. Very good representation. Mostly were Zs, GTRs, Skylines. Pretty good time.
We
We
were
did
out
run
there.
into.
We were out there cheering on our Nissan brothers. We make sure that we patted everybody on the back that we know. We were like we're spreading the positive energy, the positive race energy, making sure all the cars would make it to the end. And I guess that's kind of where our next story kind of goes from here. Is that right?
It does. It does. Well, so we're getting into back alley chat, aren't we? We are segueing.
Let's get into back alley chat. I mean, we can. You want to? We could talk about race results here if you want to kind of go over that real
That's.
quick.
Well, I'll
Sure.
tell you what. I have one thing for you, Miles. Before we get into it, though, I do want to share this with you. Let's go with it. You got to explain this picture before we go any further. You mentioned Mykojima, but you got to explain what this magazine is and the importance of it.
So, uh, so for those that don't know, I'm a huge Mike Kojima fan for many, many years. For those that don't know, Mike Kojima, to me, he was the writer for Sport Compact Car for the longest time. And he was also an avid Nissan nerd. He was actually a Nissan engineer for Nissan for a number of years when Nissan was still based out of California, which was Long
Oh God.
Beach.
Yeah.
And so moving along, I became a fan of his, and then I started kind of ghost writing, and I would get the scraps that were left over from Sport Compact Car. So, I would write like hot import nights, or I'd cover Nopi Nationals, or I'd cover whatever was hitting Texas, and they'd be like, "Hey, we need a kid out there. We need 300 words on some garbage." Anyway, but I started getting the magazine for free as an employee, and so I just started picking up and really getting into technical writing through Mikojima's articles. And then I would also see him on like twinturbo.net. That would, they would post up his articles, and they were just amazingly detailed. You had guys like Mike Smith that were working with him, which were also legendary Nissan engineers.
Mhm.
So the nerdest of the nerd. And by the way, I love Mike Kojima. If you're listening, I love you, man. Keep up the Moto IQ. He is the hierarchy. He's the pinnacle pyramid to me when it comes to engineer writing. But
Yeah.
needless to say, I geek out on him when I see him, and I had an opportunity to present his basically that's his car on the front of that Nissan's that Sport Compact Car magazine from
Mm.
God, that magazine's probably a decade old now.
I was
So I
wondering.
run that.
Yeah.
I kind of miss him from time to time. I always kind of like never get a chance to catch him. We're always like passing strangers. I never get a chance to really kind of meet up with him. And so he was nice enough to kind of in the pits sign my Sport Compact Car. And I
Yeah.
told him, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you." And so that's pretty much all you really need to know about Mike Kojima. But again, for those that really want to get into a very technical aspect and no BS kind of writer when it comes to articles, really going through products and testing them and really telling you if they're worth a damn or they're not. Moto IQ, the early sport compact stuff, if you want to try to find that stuff through like eBay, if you can still hunt those down. Great articles on Sentra because he had a Project Sentra, the Project
Mhm.
300ZX. They had a Project 240SX S13 model
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
All magic. I read all those back to front 9 times over. So I absolutely love the guy. And he was actually out there supporting Dai, who was in an Acura this year.
Dai Yoshihara was in a Tesla. Of all
Tesla, my
things.
apologies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I'm an avid fan of his, but
Mhm.
that's about the end of that backstory. Yeah,
That's all good.
I'm a nerd. So
That's all good. How did he feel though when some guy came and presented him with a magazine of his car from over 10 years ago? Like, did he think you were a stalker? Or were your first words
I'm
like,
a
I'm not
little,
crazy?
I'm a little bit of a stalker, and I try to keep it, and actually at this point, I know he's in the green room too as well, along with our special guest, and I'm going to ask him to put down the stale chips and the bottled water. But let's bring on Ion.
Let's go for it.
Let's drop him in.
All right, from the green room, guest number one here, Ayan Dasgupta. There you are, buddy.
For those that don't know, Ion is blurry, and he's our IT guy, which is hilarious to begin with, in so many things. So we blurred him out because his face is actually Japanese genitals. So we are moving forward with that story. Ion, can you hear us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yes, yes. All
So
right.
Ion, last year we actually ran into Mykojima, and he knows that I can pretty much talk to anybody. But when it comes to Mykojima, I do get a little starstruck, which is weird because he's just a normal, humble dude.
So tell us how last year's went.
It didn't go as successful as
I've never
this
seen
year.
Miles. I've never seen Miles like be so tense. And I do like Miles is what you see here is the Miles we see every day. Just easygoing, cool, whatever. Just really relaxed. I've seen this guy like in front of this Mr. Kojima, man.
You probably
it
seen
was
me only about
priceless.
two times in our careers over 20 years probably together. So
Yeah.
yeah. And anyway, I stumbled. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
but that's just me. Everybody has their own fans. Everybody has their own heroes, and it's one of those situations where you absolutely meet your heroes, right? But anyway, moving
Yes.
on.
Let's move on.
I stumbled through it, and I got a chance to meet him. I met him the years before, and again, for those that get a chance to see him out at a Super Lab Battle event, highly recommend putting your hand in Mike Kojima's hand. Very nice guy. Thank him for everything he's done. He's been in the community for 1,000 years. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and hand over the reins to Mike because we've got a hell of a story to kind of talk to you about.
We do. You think we're just getting started? Dude, we were just getting started with this awesome story, dude.
If you've stuck with us tonight, you're about to be dropped a huge bomb. And bonus to you for sticking with us all tonight because the story is about to get really.
You found the hidden room at the end of the level,
I mean, we had a lot of fun wandering around Super Lab Battle.
You found the sex tape in the you found the sex tape in the vintage store. That's
the vintage store. The beads.
That's
the room with the beads.
I'll buy that for $1.
There's no door. It's just beads. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So we're going to get into back alley chat now. Typically, in the past, back alley chat. This one's different. In the past, Miles, you and I will pick some topic to agree or disagree on, or we'll talk about experiences that we've had, personal experiences over the last forever that we've been Nissan fans and stuff. But this one, we're actually covering an experience that just happened a week and a half ago. This happened. It wasn't planned. I'll truth the fact here. I had never done this before to the level that we're going to talk about, and it was an amazing time. We had to share it. Such an awesome story. It really resulted full of adrenaline. I mean, we gained a lot of friends along the way. Ion, of course, Ion is here. That's one of the reasons why you're here, Ion, is because you were there as well. And
Ion typically goes with us to Super Lab Battle every year, and it's usually the three of us. And then from there, we start to collect all the other atoms to our nucleus that becomes the nerddom that we essentially walk around the pits or see all of our friends. And then it just becomes an epic, an epic nerddom of everything that is out there. But
there goes our rating.
We're 58 minutes.
58 minutes.
Anybody who's not hardcore has already dropped off.
Is this the after hours section? Yeah, all right.
This is the after hours.
Nissan Nerd After Hours.
Swim. This is the Adult Swim, the NC-17. You put the kids to bed. This is it. We're partying. We're about to get pretty dirty. Anyway, the story gets pretty good. We got to meet up with Ion, and then we start meeting up with some friends that we know, and we're starting to support the groups. Well, we run into our friend, Mr. Wheeler, who's actually racing again this year in Grid Life. So we run into him, and unfortunately,
are you going to bring him on? We'll let him talk about it.
Let's bring him on.
All right,
He's in the green room.
He's
Put
in
the
the green room.
on, Mr. Wheeler. Put the bottle of water down.
Live from sunny South Carolina, owner of the number 44 Nissan 370Z Nismo, we've got Jonathan Wheeler. Boom.
Gentlemen.
Woo. Yes, sir.
What up?
All right, Mr. Wheeler. So, all right, let's talk about we literally have been there for about 45 minutes. We're walking the pits, and we're like, hey, we got to go say hi to like the people that we know. And we've met you before. I think last year we hung out with you. And we had a chance to kind of meet you and kind of talk about like, hey, let's bring you on the podcast. And we were kind of like, man, who are these crazy assholes? Like, I'm meeting for the first time, and we're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. You're a Z brother. We got you. We love you, and we're gonna be here and support you every year. And you're like, all right, that's cool. See you next
If I
year.
have to, yeah.
And then so we run into you're kind of having a really bad day. Let's talk about it.
I wouldn't say it was a bad day. I was having a good morning. In fact, you did a live feed from it, and I think it was all smiles and laughs.
All right, drop it.
You want to let them know what happened, man? Yeah.
Yeah, drop it.
Okay. Now when you said you ran into me, you ran into me Saturday morning. So Friday we were there.
Yep.
We actually came in Thursday night. It's a 24-hour travel across the country from South Carolina to Dakota. So we get in Thursday, we go through the car, do all the prep stuff. Friday practice rolls around at noon, and practice could not have gone better. The car, amazing pace. We didn't come there to just win. We came to break the class record, break the chassis record, and the car had all the pace to do that. It was fantastic. And late in practice, in fact, I think I may have uploaded one of the photos to that, but I ended up getting towed off. So I got towed off late Friday, and I think I was in the garage Friday until midnight or 1 o'clock a.m. And then back in the garage at 6, driver's meeting at 7, and I think you guys came through around 8:30 or 9. And by that point, we had honed in on what the issue was, and we did not have a blown-up motor per se, because the motor ran. It bucked and whatever the words you use to describe an angry, pissed-off bull. But so we had a blown head gasket, and we couldn't keep water in the car. Now, it wasn't in the oil because it was exiting out of the exhaust. And truth be told, we didn't really even have to look that hard. With the car having issues, I didn't really want to heat cycle it or anything, but just as a lack of options, I filled up the system and I hooked up a huge, I think it was like a 40-ounce or 50-ounce water bottle to the pressurized secondary to the radiator. And that thing, I've never seen a more volatile water explosion in my life. Like exhaust gases were going from the radiator through the pressurized secondary. And then I had this 40-ounce, it was a bomb. It was a bomb. Like it's thick plastic like Gatorade. I don't know if you guys have ever blown up a Gatorade bottle, but that's what we had going on. So yeah, that's when you guys ran into me.
So let's talk a little bit about the car now, Mike. Take the lead, Mike. I know you've kind of
yeah.
So Mr. Whittle, let's talk a little bit about the car. My apologies.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's a 2012 370Z, obviously. I think FBO is used pretty loosely these days, but let's be clear and not mince words about it. It is, if it could be purchased, it's been installed on the car because as an NA platform, it made about 380 to the wheel on a VQ37 VHR, which, is pretty stout.
Pretty respectable. Wow.
Yeah.
And last year, that netted us a P2 at 380 horse to Thomas Thompson and a Cadillac that, is closer to 600 or something. So we came back this year with Top Gun Speedworks' new Roadtrek C38R kit, and
hell yeah,
on high boost it's over 700. We were not on high boost; we were mid boost, so it should have been around mid 600. And well, we know how that went, but from a build point, it's SPL everything. It's tuned by Eugene Turkoff. The tuning on the car is fantastic. Let the head gasket not be, a representation of the car and its abilities. It's fantastic. EcuTech, MCS. Fantastic motorsports suspension, and otherwise it's a full interior car. I have AC. Like these hot track events, we just sit and grip with the AC on, and you're like, oh, time to go out on track. You turn it off real quick.
That's awesome. Right. So you mentioned last year, okay, you had a 380 horse. You're really trying to obliterate the competition this year. You come in with a supercharged upgrade at this point, and then
Yep.
that's where the bad luck started to happen. Head gasket blew.
Yes.
You said what was the horsepower again coming out this year?
Let's
At
call it
Nibus?
mid-sixes. Let's call it mid-sixes.
Damn.
Gotcha.
It's a
Yeah,
gentleman's
when it's
sixes.
cold, like when it's cold, and we have the super conservative tune on the car, right? Like this was not a bring it there and blow it up.
Yeah.
Now that became the backup plan, but we brought it across the country.
Yeah.
It was very, very conservative, and as it gets up, even anywhere remotely, what could be
Cold.
considered too warm, it starts pulling timing, and it dials back to almost mid 500.
A lot of guys have a problem with shrinkage when it gets cold. I just want to throw that out there. Not to be ashamed of. 6 is still a strong number.
So,
It's awesome.
So how did you get traction with that kind of horsepower?
Ecutech and Eugene Turkoff. So
Nice.
the software that runs the car has built-in capabilities of boost per gear, traction control per gear, per RPM. Prior to Eugene, the car would do rolling burnouts. You could just be going down the road in 4th gear, and I don't care if you were doing 40 or 100. You put your foot to the floor, it'll light them up.
wow.
And fast forward into Ecutech, and it's just gripped up everywhere. The car, I'm hesitant to say I haven't driven anything as good because I've driven some pretty high dollar cars on track, but for anything less than $100,000, you'd be hard pressed. Like it's just really good.
Awesome, man. So you had this amazing build, and you're right, man. I mean, I you shared a few videos with us. I don't think we have them queued up at the moment though, but you share very impressive videos, man. You're saying, the boost when it kicks in, your 50 to 100 is within a blink of an eye. It's ridiculous.
I think it's just south of 4 seconds.
Wow, man.
It's incredible. You can't actually see. Like, it's difficult to watch. Like, by the time you're looking to see what speed you're at, you're 10 miles an hour faster.
That's insane, man.
So that was the car. I mean, obviously, just big moment there. Now, running into the story was we run into you. We discover that you've got a blown head gasket. And I remember we were walking away, and you told us, and we're like, oh, man, sorry to hear that. And as we're walking away, I look over at Miles, and I go, Miles, don't you have one of those engines sitting in your backyard? And, like, his eyes lit up. He's like, I do. And I was like, well, okay. And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, well, maybe we can do something. And, and I think we kept on walking because we did see some other parts of the show for a little bit. And then about an hour, 2 hours later, all of a sudden, Miles and Ion come to me, and they're like, hey, we need to talk about something. And this is at this point.
The whole thing is, at that point, we've kind of accepted you into our into our inner circle. So you've been accepted, and we're just like, all right, we like him, but do we like him? And we're just like, all right, do we want to go above and beyond for this guy? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? The guy's in need. He drove all the way from South Carolina. He's how much money he's involved.
That's a huge investment on its own. Just getting there.
No doubt.
Well, and we're just like, what does Nissan Karma tell us to do in these situations? What does it dictate?
They always say,
I'm just like, all right. Yeah.
When they always say when you're trying to make a decision, go with the direction that makes a better story. And that's exactly what we did.
That's probably honestly that's probably the best journalism thing I think you've ever thrown out of your mouth. And you're not a journalism person. But moving along, we'll keep the story rolling. So ultimately I said, you know what? I do have an engine, and I talked to you, Mr. Wheeler, and I said, look, because you were looking to send one of your team out to a 3-hour drive to pick up a set of head gaskets.
One way.
Yeah.
One way.
My
and everything entailed in that.
My experience with that engine is going to be, look, you're going to put a head gasket on that, but then you're going to have a bearing then you're going to blow the motor and grenade it, and that's going to be the end of that life for that engine. I was like, look, I literally have the engine that you need and desire sitting at my home. Sounds crazy. This is a little crazy. But I said, I'll drive to my house. We'll cut out the super lap battle, kissing babies and handshaking thing, and I'll drive to my house an hour away. And then these two, we'll put together a team to come back and help you to pull it. And you're just like, you know what? Tell me about your experience of
what did you think when you heard this?
Yeah, what do you think when
I remember my exact words.
When three random strangers get around you and are crowding your personal space and telling you, we don't want anything from you. It's a little prison-esque, but go ahead and tell me about your experience. What is that feel like?
I remember my exact words, because the idea that you had this engine that could be picked up and then, I could take on a possible swap. It sounded a bit fantastical. And I remember looking at you, Miles, and I was like, hey, buddy, this sounds a bit fantastical. And I know like we're surrounded by a bunch of race cars and there's a bunch of famous people. Like, I tell you what, let's throttle it back. I'm gonna leave you guys like 10 or 15 minutes, right? Talk amongst yourselves. And then if you still feel as though you want to do this, come over to Bay 26.
Yeah.
Look for Di and Mike. I'm next to them. And and then let's talk more about it. And I think
I made 2
6
phone
or
calls.
7 minutes. It wasn't.
I made
15.
2 phone calls. I literally called the Austin Infinity man that I know, which is Craig Isaacs, who, by the way, if you want an Infinity and you're in Austin Infinity,
he's the man.
And I literally called him, do you have an engine for this car? I was like, then I called a Nissan person I know. Do you have an engine or a head gas? He goes, dude, they are on total back order, impossible to get. And he goes, best of luck. And I was like, do you have a crate engine? No, we don't have anything right now for the VHR. And I'm like, all right. And then I went back to you and I'm like, I got your engine. And you're just
initially,
like,
Yeah.
remember this actually started off as a potential core.
Yeah, and that's all it was. I was like, dude, I got a core for you. When you go home, you got you got a baddest core that you could want. It's there, and I'll literally sell it to you for like next to nothing. I'll give it to you
the conversation
for homeboy pricing. So
yeah, like that was the idea. Was, hey man, sorry that happened to you, and me saying like,
it's
hey
karma,
guys, you guys are here to enjoy Super Lap Battle, like the experience of being it. You guys said it 10 minutes ago, right? Like. The experience of being there.
Yeah.
Right. Like the experience
I didn't get a chance to even buy like the $12 pizza slice that I wanted to get.
It's funny.
Yeah. I
the
didn't
$12
even get
pizza
a
slice.
program.
I wanted a $20 beer. I wanted to overprice.
You really wanted to soak it in, yeah.
I wanted to soak in the experience of getting price raped on merchandise, and you robbed that of me. It's just. But no, needless to say, Super Lap Battle's amazing. Coda, whole different ball of wax. Moving on. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we knew you were a friend in need. We knew you needed to kind of get on the track, and we said, you know what, this is going to be a great story. Let's help this gentleman out. So we action team, Justice League Connect, boom, and we rolled out. And Ion took me out to his house. I picked up my truck, headed back to San Antonio, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then you sent your significant
girlfriend,
other,
Sarah. She is.
Well, leave it alone. She's amazing. I absolutely love Sarah. She's the best. I absolutely
She's amazing.
She's cool.
She's amazing. She rocks.
Absolute trooper.
And I was like, look, Sarah, you don't know me from Adam. You're going to meet me in my house. I'm going to give you an engine. You're going to meet my daughter. You're going to play with my daughter. And I'm going to load an engine on the back of your car, your truck, and then you are going to drive back to Circuit of the Americas. And my 2 crazy bastards here are going to put that engine in all night long. Yeah. And that was the plan. That's kind of what came up in the past.
Yeah, it escalated so quickly. It escalated so quickly. It was a conversation about an engine, and then it was 7 minutes later, hey, Sarah, drive this big ass diesel truck to San Antonio. Like, follow this guy. He's not a rapist, I swear.
And from here, the beauty of the story is the organization / chaos. And I'm gonna let Mike take it because literally Mike did it down hour to hour, and I'll let it go from there.
So, you know, when this came up, and this is in true Miles fashion, he presents the vision, the great idea, and I come in after him, and I'm like, okay, I'm the details guy. I'm like, all right, do we have this? Do we have that? If we don't, what are the odds? Can we get it in time? The logistics, this full-blown nerd mode really went into full effect. Ion joined me in that. We were over here like just talking about every possibility that could go wrong, because that's what you really have to plan for, you know.
For sure.
Yeah. So finally,
you are a man of my people. I truly enjoyed that part of the process. Like, honestly,
dude, list, man. Oh my god,
the list.
It was
your
incredible. Like, I had a bit of like man chub for you at that time when you came to me and you had this list, and it was like
I will sell it to you cheap.
different
I will sell it to you cheap.
Yeah. It was like 72 different tools, random
we don't screw around.
consumables, and you made it in like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
no, but the crazy thing is, and for those that don't know, and if you're in San Antonio and Austin area and you know us, that's how we roll. Like, somebody needs an engine. We've done it so many times. Yeah. Engine pools that we're just kind of like used to it. We're just like, dude, like, okay, we need this. And we're literally like walking and talking and putting this list together. And we're like, all right, there's about an 80% correctiveness, like 80% accuracy rate on it. And then Ion is like, okay, so Mike is like next level. Mike's the neck is pretty hardcore. He takes care of everything in a macro setting. In a micro setting, that's my boy right here. Ion is like uber nerd to the nth degree. And between the two of them and myself, we get some stuff done in a crash course that is just epically. Yeah. You know, they should be writing sonnets about us. You know, if it was Viking folklore or something like Nordic folklore. Yeah. But these guys will get some stuff on. I couldn't be prouder of them for putting the list together, getting with you, and we were basically just telling you, start tearing your car apart.
We're serious about this. Get her done.
I want you to rip the entire car, the front of your car off, because we're going to take your engine out by the time we get back. And you're just like, tell me about how that felt.
I did not even pick up the first tool. And I think I ended up asking you guys about 5 times, like, hey, man. Once you leave and I can't see you anymore, if you told me to do this and this thing falls apart and I take my car apart and I have to put it back together, stay in San Antonio, right? And I did. You're right. I asked several times, and everybody like the stern, like, and they're like, yes. We're good. The plan is sound.
I think the last thing I saw you was you did this on a 5-hour energy. That was it. And I was like, he's in it. I was like, now we need to live up to our anticipation. Yep. Mike, start breaking down the timeline. What happened?
All right. So this was probably around 2 or 3 o'clock that we finally make the decision. Yeah. 2 o'clock. It was 2. So it's 2 o'clock. We finally make the decision. Ion and Miles, you guys had about an hour to go to Ion's first. Miles, we
got food first.
Oh, that's right. We did.
None of us had eaten at that point.
We hadn't eaten anything all night. Calm down. We had 30 minutes.
It was a planning session. It was an additional
recharge.
Hey, we didn't get the $20 pizza, damn it.
We didn't get the $20 pizza.
That's right. The pizza. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, after we leave the restaurant there, I head straight to San Antonio. I grab my tools, I grab my supplies. I went to an auto parts store to get any type of supplies and extra parts that we may need. I bought things that, again, they always say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so I was doing that.
At 3 o'clock in the morning when nothing's going to be open when you need it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So at that point, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Ion makes his way out. Miles makes his way back to San Antonio. I think by the time we were getting back to the garage, Ion was first. He had come in. He was the closest, right? So you came, what was it, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, Ion, that you got
It was
back?
like 5 or 6 or something like
5
that.
or 6.
Yeah, it was 5 or 6.
Yeah, I came in around 7, car full of just bags and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At that point, the front end of the car was taken off, supercharger was off, and we were just getting through with the final pieces of the engine. We pulled the engine and transmission together.
Well, while you guys were prepping everything, I literally was loading an engine in the middle of the street in my neighborhood, and if I had an HOA, they would probably be yelling at me. I mean, I literally was
I have to
loading up
say,
this entire engine, and Sarah, if you're listening, I kudos the balls to that woman for showing up to a stranger's house and not grabbing the sidearm, which I know she was rocking, and she probably would have pumped 3 shots into me.
It ain't.
I don't live in the nicest area.
It's not the
But she
nice
showed up,
area. Yeah.
and she showed up. She was like, she didn't cap me, so she didn't side shot
Yeah.
So
me.
that was good.
So
Yeah.
that was good. And then she played with my daughter for about an hour while I loaded up this engine and made that happen. And so I'm literally calling these fools. I'm calling you, and I'm like, hey, what do you need? I literally have the mecca of all the tools you could ever want in my garage. So I'm like making the list, blah, blah, blah. I'm slamming, bam, bam, bam. I'm throwing it all on bikes, and I'm sending it. I'm like, take my cherry picker, take my engine stand, fucking take it all. And and I load it all in the back of this
And the
truck.
chocolates.
And the chocolates. And I send it all along the way, and Sarah's off to you guys. And this is kind of where I stop, and I kind of have to take apart.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I'm working on extending my family, so I had to take care of some insemination.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome.
I had to work
Pre-congrats.
on an insemination night. There was a pre-plan that was happening. So I love you guys, Mr. Wheeler. I love you too as well. But
Hey,
and I'm gonna
family's
drop
first,
it
man.
It's
Family's
fair.
first, dude. I
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I gave you all the goods. I gave you all the tools you needed for success.
Yes. Yep. So and you're right, Miles. You provided not only the engine, but the engine hoist, the engine stand, which we didn't have, and you're like, here, take it all. We'll figure it out
Bearing
later.
puller, all the good stuff.
Yes.
Miscellaneous straps. Just a
Oh yeah,
thousand.
we'll get to that in a minute too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We the truck arrives. Sarah returns back to the garage by 9 p.m. By this point, we are just ready. I mean, engine comes in. Does anybody want to talk about the sketchiness of the straps that we had holding this engine?
Got
You
the freight
know
for
what?
wins.
Yeah.
Okay, NC-17, go suck a D. You know what? My straps are magical, and I measured out the load capacity of every single strap.
Yeah,
So guess what? You could have picked up 2 engines.
Oh,
All right,
dear.
with those straps.
It
all right?
worked. We were just totally
They
happy.
were
though. It
perfectly
definitely worked
leveled.
well.
Everything was perfectly,
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Wait, how's that go again?
Thank you. You can say
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we got this thing strapped. We have the new engine or the donor engine on the stand. We start stripping that thing down, cleaning it up. Meanwhile, at this point, it's more than just us 3. Now we had a handful of friends join us along the way. I know new friends for all of us. I know again. I only know them as Hands.
Wyatt.
Where is Hands from? Hands.
Wyatt is from North Carolina. He was there with Brandon Luthi, the Black Golf R.
Okay.
I couldn't remember what car he was in. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Gotcha. I'm writing this down because I'm horrible with names too. So I'm just like,
Wyatt
I want to
Holden.
remember.
Wyatt Holden.
Holden.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yep.
I need to say hi to him, man. Because so the whole night. So at this point, again, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We're rolling and rolling. People are coming in and out of the garage because even though the race is over, a lot of people are camping out. They got their trailers on the back side of the garage, hanging out. They got families, and just having a good time. And they see us with our garage door open.
Well, word had already spread. Like word had spread at 2 o'clock that there was an engine swap.
Yep.
That doesn't
Dude,
happen.
we had
Like, let's be
visitors like
clear,
every couple of
man.
hours. It was
Yeah,
bananas.
you break an engine at a time attack event. You put it in the you put it in the trailer, and
Yeah,
nobody
and you're
is going to have more fun than you for the rest of the weekend. Like breakfast beers, shower beers, right? Like you break
Yeah.
an engine at an event, the party starts. Whatever time that happens. So
It's time to break out the whiskey.
It's just unheard of. It's just unheard of. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We don't quit. No.
Yeah, it was funny on a post. Will Young, the Civic.
Yeah.
Canadian, yeah. Will said it best. You know, it's the champion mindset, right? Like you broke an engine, cool. I didn't have a spare engine, so my plan, again, I already told you guys, I was just going to push it out in grid stone cold and hope that it runs for 8 minutes.
No.
And
I remember that.
I told you,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. I remember you said that to me, and I was like, you know what? Nah. If
I
that's
came
what
to
it is, I was
Texas
like,
this far. If it does a lap, like I needed it to do a lap, and if it ran long enough to do that, then that's what we were
when
going to
you
do.
told me that,
I was going to
when you
pay
told me
the
that,
oil
you
cleanup
triggered.
fee.
That was a proclamation of the challenge.
Yeah,
That was it right there.
We all were walking
Not a joke.
around. We all walked around and we're just like, you know what? If it was us, if it was us. And the thing is, how good of a story would it be if we got this done for him?
It's a Cinderella story, and that's why it spread so quickly. Everybody at Super Lap Battle knew that an engine swap was happening in Bay 26. It doesn't happen. I've been at this for a while. It doesn't happen.
You're right, and that's
so
that was
continue on.
All right. So, at a certain point, the weather starts kicking in. It's getting a little cold. We shut the garage door, though. But we have easily, again, us three. We've got about 4 others coming in and out throughout the entire time, helping us out along the way. We pull the engine transmission out together. We get the engine, the clutch, flywheel all torqued back on together. All the accessories taken care of. I'm trying to think, was there anything in particular that was a challenge for us?
The automatic, that
pushing,
berry thing. Oh my god!
It's funny.
I gave you guys a tool.
Automatic. Well, the tool is cool, but
we
lost.
We also discovered why hands is called hands.
Yes. It's funny.
All right.
So the automatic output shaft, the pilot bearing, and
it's a
I believe there was a heater hose. I'm sure you're not ready to talk about that yet. How long did it take you? A half an hour for a hose, bro?
Ion gets stuck.
I warned everybody about that one.
You expanded my curse word vocabulary that weekend. Like honestly, I'm prior.
He'll go on in the biblical tongues.
I thought that I was seasoned and well versed, bro.
Ion will go into snake handling biblical tongues, cussing with the weirdest, dumbest stuff, and you're just like, I was like, calm down. So that's when I send Mike to handle an Ion job, and they switch, and that's why it makes them so beautiful. They'll literally help each other out.
We definitely are a team for sure. Yeah.
Those were the only 2 things, honestly. When you talk a motor swap,
overall,
nothing else.
But you hadn't done anything. You hadn't done anything of that caliber before in a pit away from home, and your comfort level was just out the window. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you were flying by the seat. And how good did that feel?
Well, it's funny, Sarah. I know she's listening, so she'll laugh at this. So, being an engineer, I have this engineering mindset, and I work well with other engineers. And the idea is that when you're around other people that are as analytical and have already kind of read like a constant reading of the situation, what's the next step? What tool do they need? My hands are empty. Let me go ahead and grab that. That way, when they're ready for this, I can be there. And then boom, they're going to do and you've already analyzed a job that somebody else is doing, right? And how that is.
Yep.
And we're like communicating with clicks and grunts.
Yes.
Right? Like you're not even. It was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun. Any other group, I wouldn't have done it, right? But the moment that the list started, and I was like, okay, these are men of my people. We can do this.
Yeah, man. It was amazing time though, man. I know. So I know the pilot bushing was. I think we finally got the thing pulled. It involved fire. It involved heat.
Copious amounts of fire.
Copious. Copious amounts of fire.
You should have been packing grease. You should have been using an extractor.
I wanted to use bread. I'm a bread guy, but no, that got shut down.
I've never gotten the bread technique to work.
I'm 100% success rate with bread.
Wow. Yeah.
It works. Pack the grease doesn't.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I think we had. I think we had the pilot bushing issue resolved by 4 o'clock, 4:30, maybe 5. I know the
Is it
engine.
that late? Early? Whatever.
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think about when it was sunset. Sunset was 7 a.m. By the way, sunset, beautiful
Yeah.
sunset at Coda. That was my.
I think rise is the word you're looking
All right,
for.
hold on.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Sunrise,
so
sunrise.
you guys have ran from, I don't know, 7 o'clock all the way to sunrise at this point. I need
That's
some
12 hours.
photos. I
Yeah.
need some photos.
Yes.
You guys are talking a massive game. Now keep in mind
We were
I'm
much
waking up-
further, but so go ahead.
I'm waking up every 2 hours here in San Antonio on this computer waiting for you guys to ask me questions because I have every 370Z factory service manual loaded up across my screens and I'm like, ask me anything. I'm on every forum. I have everything at my disposal. I'm literally waking up every 2 hours waiting for the weird, catastrophe calls. I'm like, call me. I'm your man. I
Never
can't be
happened.
there, but I can be there in spirit while I go and get my semen into the world. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's just-
Oh my god.
don't judge me, baby. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
All right,
So
moving on.
yeah. Okay, so pictures.
give me some
Ion,
pictures.
There's
Come
some
on.
pictures. Ion, I'm going to share your screen. You have been the Jonathan, you too. My phone died along the way, so I didn't have much. This is what we have. This is a slideshow, and we'll just let this run in the background if you want.
Yeah. I mean, slideshow's rolling, so just let it go.
We'll keep on going.
So
here.
I wanted to talk on timeline for a moment. I know that at 7 o'clock, I went to the driver's meeting because
That's right.
this thing had gone so well, and we had only run into, I lost the door to the trailer on the way home. Like the hits never quit stuff,
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later because I have questions. Anyway.
So at 7 a.m., we're far enough along into this process. I'm confident, right? So I go to the driver's meeting, and when I left, there was an engine in the car, and I think you guys were running the ECU harness back through the firewall when I left.
Upside down again.
That
Upside
makes
down
sense.
again.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
were getting close.
there's hands.
Yeah. I know by sunrise, yes, we were definitely on the home stretch. The engine was in. We were the accessories were plugging in. I remember being underneath the car, putting in the slave cylinder and exhaust. And by the time I got out from doing that, fuel rail, harness, I mean everything else had been done. All that was left was front hood support, the radiator, and the supercharger. So we were really on the home stretch by 8 o'clock at the latest.
Which it's funny. It took me 3, maybe 4 weeks to install the supercharger.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious. And like the cleanliness of the install, and then I did it at a racetrack in about 45 minutes. I can't wait to share this bit with Aaron Ditus, the owner of
Hold on.
Speedworks.
So let's slow it down a little bit and go back about 2 images.
Can you
Keep going. I've seen all this. I know what all that is. Moving on. Keep going.
You got this?
There. Go up one.
That one?
Go up one more. Go up one more. Go up
that one.
Stop there. Yes, stop there.
That's the
What?
ECU. Yeah. Yeah. Dad.
That's magical. That is a great photo.
Yeah.
That was Ion. Yeah, digging in. That wire harness has about 3 to 6 connections underneath the dash that are really hard. And just
that was fun.
Ion being the contortionist that he is naturally, he can handle it, man.
And to be fair, he was
He is
even
a
if
yogi.
he wasn't a contortionist, he was the smallest person. He didn't have a choice.
There isn't true entertainment with Z cars without me being upside down. There's other stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, engine's installed. Sun is up. Now your goal originally was to have this car running. You had to be on the track by 1 o'clock.
That was the goal.
Running. That was the goal.
Yeah, because we started at 2, and you guys said, this is what you said when we talked on Saturday. We can do a motor swap in 24 hours. And I said, okay. Can you make it 23? Because there's a 1 p.m. session that I want to make.
Yeah. And I remember that startup. I don't know if you have the video of that, Ion, but I know that startup was at noon. I think we knocked it out by noon, 12 on the nose. we had.
It was a little bit earlier than that.
Really?
Yeah. We I think we.
Yeah, I think it was
started
around 11 or
closer
11:30 or something.
I think
All
it
right,
was around.
hey, you guys are talking a lot of game, and like everybody else, I didn't get this information hours later. So go ahead and drop me a video so I know that some
I got it.
success
I
happened.
brought the video.
Let's go.
You got it?
All right,
Okay,
are
cool.
we
I
ready
was
for
about
this?
to go look for it.
All right, without further ado, again, after all this, again, it started on what if we did this? We're going into
Yes.
12 hours, 24 hours later, overnight, energy drinks, protein bars. Again, just
As it should be.
zero
Well,
I
brought
have,
sugar,
no,
adrenaline,
I have no
coffee.
sympathy for you. Get it done. Let's go.
Okay,
Come on.
okay. Here is the
Show me.
startup. Here is
Show
the
me.
startup with the new motor.
Go. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Nice.
you could have pushed me
You guys
over with a
rock.
feather. At that point, I was just
Yeah.
super relieved.
As it should be, you had to earn that kind of good graceness. So yeah, you know,
You
I
guys
do want
rock.
to say something before we move it further on. So Jay is actually on with us tonight. He says, "Awesome." There's a little more to that. There's a bit of a backstory. So I had that engine for a good while, and I was keeping it in my own inventory for an eventual swap. Now Jay is actually the gentleman who I sold it to about 4 days before, and he said, and I literally had to call and basically eat humble pie, and I'm like, bro, I just sold you this engine. I need you to sell it back to me. And so Jesse is the nicest person on the planet. He was nice enough to do that for us. And he just wanted to know, he's like, all right, man, is he cool? Is he one of us? And I said, he's totally down. He's one
Thank
of
you,
us.
Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
And honestly, it wouldn't have
Jesse.
none of this would be possible without Jesse. So kudos to him
Good
for
shout
everything
out.
he does. He is a legend in San Antonio in the Z community, and I cannot thank him enough. And honestly, he's just an amazing dude all around. So
Can you
yeah,
guys
so-
send me his social media stuff when this is done?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure
Oh
it
yeah,
out. But,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
screw
one
that
other
guy.
quick shout out is
Story,
to
yeah.
Greg, which is where the
All
motor
right.
came from.
I already gave Jesse
But yeah.
praise. Screw him. We're moving on. And no, I'm just kidding. I absolutely love Jesse. Yeah, we'll send you his data, and you can do whatever you want to do with him. But
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
but yeah, again, it wouldn't have happened without him. You guys accomplished an amazing feet.
it was such a feeling. man.
Amazing
It really
feat.
was.
So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a little bit of an unfinished business there. I mean, you didn't get quite what you wanted. I'll let you kind of talk about that a little bit further.
I'll lead in. I'll let you get into it, Jonathan, as well. So, but yeah, I know that video there. You know, we finally got it on the ground. Sounded beautiful. It was that first, maybe second cycle of heat cycle that there was some sensors that were.
Well, even before that, the video, there was a successive video that I don't have, but somebody out there has it.
It
Where
sounded so good. That engine sounded so
man,
good.
Wheeler, you
I-
fire that thing
I-
up and it sounded
nothing-
amazing.
I hear nothing but complaints, excuses. That's all I really hear. And Mr. Wheeler is laughing. So I'm going to tell you right now, I know it's something simple. I know it's something stupid.
Dude,
Because I know
Wheeler,
that engine is
I
nothing
am
but fire.
dying to know. Okay, so tell us the rest of the story.
None of us, hold on. None of us know what the issue is. So Mr. Wheeler, and I'll just tell you right now, Mr. Wheeler did get it running. He drove it around the pits from what I'm being told, and it wasn't quite up to par. So he basically, unfortunately, put it back into the trailer. But
We
There was an
tinkered
issue.
on that thing until 3:20. The goal was
Yep.
to get out on track at 1 o'clock
And it's-
because I
and it's
needed some
commendable.
data
We kept
for
trying.
the
We kept trying.
tires. And
We did not
right,
give up.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shooting for the 1 o'clock. That way we could adjust tire pressures,
Yep.
any suspension, and then have the 3 o'clock flyer to go out, turn it up, and do the thing we came there to do. We did not stop turning wrenches on that car until 3:30. We were 10 minutes into the session still turning wrenches because if it had ran, I was going to go out in t-shirts and a short and a helmet and go do the damn thing.
Yes.
Like we did not
And you were
stop
totally
until
prepped to do that
3:30.
too. In fact, I think the last session you
walking around
did
with
that.
my helmet. I had a 10mm wrench and a helmet at 3:30.
I
It's
still hear
true.
nothing but excuses. Tell
No.
me how my guys failed.
Oh.
Aw, damn.
Oh man.
So
No.
ultimately, you didn't get it on the track, but
No.
it's still an amazing story. So what was it that caught? What was the
What,
little
bro?
issue? I know you figured it out.
So
Well, tell us what the issue was at first, and then tell us what happened.
that's actually because
How could we have done better?
You're assuming that I know what is wrong with it, right? Which we have intentionally not talked about this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So nobody
It's the first
knows
time hearing
anything.
this.
Okay.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows about
So-
it. No, I
Right,
don't
so
know.
there's an
Mike doesn't know.
assumption
Ion
that's-
doesn't know.
Yeah. So there's an assumption that I have information that you guys don't. So here's what I know. All right.
Okay.
The car starts and idled beautifully when we, like, as you saw in that video, right?
Yes.
And it ran for 2 or 3 minutes. That video was a small snapshot. And then once the water temp got up to whatever, we were able to put some RPM into it. And it, like they said, the car just sounds amazing. And as soon as the car gets out of, there's a startup mode that most imports have.
Yep.
Right. And it's a safe mode that doesn't run
Yep.
any sensors because the car turns the RPM up.
Is it
It's
15
looking to
minutes?
build heat. No, it's 2 minutes or whatever it is. Right. Which is why the car sounds great. And then what would happen? It would come
Stumble
out
and
of
die.
that safe startup mode.
It would go into
and-
safe mode. Yeah.
This is why I
right.
was telling you fools to
And it
call
would
me in the middle of the
fucking-
night.
Well, we didn't start it until 11.
Yeah. It was close. Yeah.
Son
yeah.
of a bitch. Oh, man.
So,
Oh, well. You guys were
um,
so close, dude. I'm just like
Yeah.
so pulling for you guys.
So we know that it's sensor related because once it goes out of safe startup mode, it is now taking information from all of its data points and says, "Oh shit, we have a problem." So we knew it was sensor related. We couldn't overcome that at the track, and being gone for a week and running a company, I haven't really had a lot of time to mess with the car. With that said,
Blah,
last
blah,
night I took
blah. Your problems.
Even
Moving
with that
on.
crazy
Wow,
tune
calm
that you
down.
had too.
hold on,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm kidding. But no, that's awesome. man.
So last night I took the car out for about 25 minutes.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's backtrack a bunch. What?
Yep.
Was it? Don't tell me it was a simple thing. I mean, it had to be anything.
What was the
It
simple
actually-
thing?
Did it heal itself?
No, so this is actually one of those things that I'm going to take the time and go on to the 370 forums and make a write up and ask it to be a sticky because there's not a lot of information available for this online.
Wow.
Okay.
And I have read about 350 to 400 FSM pages looking for a small blip of information, and it's not actually on one sheet. You have to read this much of it on the CM FSM, and then you have to move over to the CH
Oh,
or CE
jeez.
section, and then get
So
the
it's
other
between a couple
bits.
sections.
Yeah,
Drop it.
yes.
Or what is it?
So, Eon, you'll appreciate this. In big bold letters in the FSM, it says to never field service, remove, swap, or whatever the crank actuator, any components of it, whether it be the motor or the sensor, and the sensor is the one that you could turn a little bit.
Yep.
And you're right. You can adjust that thing.
Yep.
However, big bold letters, don't ever do it.
Jeez.
So the moment that thing got disconnected from one to the other, the
Yeah.
system shit itself. And as it ended up, it works on a 0
because you have to
5 volt.
recalibrate it, right?
You have to recalibrate it. However, the sensor is so
Sensitive.
Persnickety?
it's so sensitive that it's a 0 to 5 volt system, and it has
Yeah.
a 48 millivolts variance.
Wow.
Okay. So
That's
is
what I
there a
was
way
afraid
to
I sat
calibrate that?
outside. Yes, I sat outside with my laptop for about 3.5 hours, plugged
Dialing it
into the
in.
car to dial the thing in.
And that's all it was.
Damn.
That's all it is.
Shit.
Wow.
We were
Yep.
this close.
I knew it was just some, and that's what I was afraid of too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if it had something to do with that because I was like,
You said it.
man.
You said it like 8 times.
Yeah.
The problem is, it took me forever to even find the bits. And once you find it, you're like, oh shit, I now need to scroll.
Yeah.
And then it tells you go to a page, and it's
Yep.
not on that page. You then have to read through another 200 pages on the CM section to find
Yeah.
it. It's crazy, man.
So
Wow.
if I may just say something, I mean, you guys didn't get there, and you were 0.5 of a hair there of getting it done, dude. I'm gonna say that's pretty successful, man. I mean,
The
I
car
knew you
started
guys
and
already
ran.
did it,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty proud. And I just want to say something before we begin, and I'll let you do closing arguments or whatever you guys want to do. But I'm proud of you guys, man. I know I wasn't there towards the end and turning wrenches, but I know I've worked with these guys before, and Mr. Wheeler, I was confident when I looked in your eyes. I knew there was something there, but I was so proud of you guys when I heard that at least you had a chance to kind of drive around, and then it went into some kind of limp mode. I knew it was going to be something
On
silly.
grid, Miles. I was on grid.
I know.
He was
I
on
know
the
Oh,
you're
grid.
on
totally.
grid.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I watched you drive away and I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Holy
This is
shit.
happening. I know. I was like, but I will say there's an excitement there, and I was like, it was crazy. Like my whole Sunday morning, I was just like just waiting for an update. And Sarah was nice enough to update me. If she's still listening tonight, thank you again, Sarah, for being the one person that fed me information while I'm still at my house, sitting in front of a factory service manual that I've read like the Bible 9 times over throughout
man.
all night
Awesome.
long. But kudos to you guys, man. I mean, seriously, for me to just, to give you an engine, for you guys to pull it, blind, doing it all like that, and then doing it all, whatever little details you guys needed, with the help of all the folks that helped you out in the paddocks, Hands, and everybody else throughout the night.
Yeah.
Dude,
And-
I couldn't be prouder of you guys, honestly. I'm like, I seriously, I'm so jelly that you guys got that far, and I wish like I would have been there. It's gonna be one of those regrettable moments when I'm on my deathbed. I'm like, why wasn't I there? Because I live for those moments, but I'm really ecstatically proud of you guys for having the balls to do something like that first off, and then getting it all done all night long. That just speaks to the kind of guys that I've worked with.
It was so much fun and amazing. Yeah.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
It was a victory.
experience.
Yeah.
It was a victory. And it was a testament to the idea of, get a couple of dudes together and not even beers, which I kind of regret now because I never actually had to drive on track.
Dude, the only reason I didn't is I would have just fallen over and slept.
I've been doing competition racing for a while, and I've had some great experience over the years. Some good, some bad, some stuff. The fantastic stories over Super Lap Battle and Global Time Attack is a ton of fun. But if you've never been to like a Grid Life festival event, like that thing is an experience, and things happen that you talk about for years. This was one of the greatest experiences I've not only had like at a racetrack, but just from like a guy perspective, what we were capable of doing and the amount of fun we had doing it. Like, stress is high, anxiety. Nobody on this, I don't believe, has swapped a VQ37, right? Like, okay, so we're all doing
L motors, VGs, a few other engines, not a VQ.
Yeah, right, and exactly. So me neither from a VQ perspective. So nobody has done this thing, and at no point, right? Like no point was there ever anything that wasn't enjoyable or fun. Not sleeping, I don't remember the last time I ate. I genuinely look back and I'm like, who was that person? Like, you don't give me food by like noon. I'm hypo ranting. Like, I'm a woman. You gotta feed me, or I'm not going to be around.
No, I have to say those little energy bars were great. That was fantastic.
Those
Thank
bars
you.
were good. Yes.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah,
They were.
it was a hell of an experience. And I know Miles said it, and I'll say it too. Like, I couldn't be more proud of what we did as a group, but you guys, for me, okay, I have this can't stop, won't stop mentality, right? Came here to do a job, and I'm not going to stop. Again, walking around with a helmet and a wrench, 10 minutes through a session, like I'm not going to stop. But it's not your car, right? Like
it doesn't matter.
Financially invested.
This is the part of the challenge.
You guys, exactly. You stepped up, and what you accomplished it was incredible.
It was an amazing time, man. I'll be honest, man, that was my first VQ37 pool, and I mean, I learned a lot along the way. Yep. I mean, I don't know if I should be telling you this now, but I mean, but no, we handled it great. You're right. I mean, all the pits knew. We had camera. There was even some super lap battle camera guys coming in, and people kind of stopping by. And I regardless of the sensor issue, I know the moment they heard that engine fire up, they were like. Damn,
they knew.
You guys
we got visited by media so much.
No,
it was
that's the thing. That's how it should be. Like, honestly, like you're a baller when you pull an engine at a place. And I was like, dude, we're all about that. I wish I would have been there. I was talking to Jesse. I literally was talking to everybody else because it started getting feet. Like it started getting legs, in the world. Like the guys in Texas were asking. I mean, you were starting to get legend when in real time. People in San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, they were asking me about it. Like, hey, what's going on with that engine? You guys are pulling all crazy. And Jay was telling me, and he actually commented in the notes, and he goes, I told Miles I need a top 3 finish. And I was just like,
that was the goal the whole way, man. Yeah,
yeah.
Really
if that car did
I was looking forward to that.
It wasn't a top 3. It was.
I don't know, but it was like it was legend, and that's the thing. It's like a story like that is pretty. That's one of those life moments, and I'm like super. Again, I couldn't say it enough. In lack of a better word, I'm super proud of you guys for pulling it off and getting as far as you did. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mr. Wheeler, you've got a pit crew for next year. Quit screwing around.
Yeah, come back.
We obviously survive off of beer, lack of sleep, these stupid granola bars that Ion keeps talking about. And then that's it. That's all we need. That's it. We're like gerbils. That's all.
Wait, so that is the question. Are you coming back next year?
Of course I am.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, heck yeah.
You got a pit crew.
Yeah.
That's it. You got
officially. I came there to set a bunch of records, and I did not do that. So we're not stopping until that's done. In fact, within the class that I'm in, if you win it, you are unofficially automatically moved up to the next class. However, they let you defend the title the next year.
Yeah.
So I'm guaranteed 2 more visits, no matter what.
No matter what.
Okay.
All right, man.
You
be sure.
Now,
I'll start getting another VHR engine just in case.
Because the one we pulled out, I just got some photos. All the parts, or almost all of the parts, are in. We are doing a legit long block build, and I mean legit.
Okay.
Awesome.
8,500 RPM, good for 1K. Yeah. Now, mind you,
you're not joking around here.
Well, the class is limited by tire, so no, you can't use 1,000 horsepower in the car, right? Like, which is why it was running the horsepower that it was. I can turn it up for more, but you can't keep it planted on a street tire. Like, I don't know if you guys saw what's on it, but it's a Goodyear, like a passenger vehicle Goodyear.
Street
That's
tires.
hilarious.
660 horses now. It's street tires.
Hence the limiter.
Yeah.
That's where
it's a wide ass tire, but it's a street tire.
It's a 275.
Yeah.
Wow. We can
That's
shave it.
I thought it was
Well,
wider than that. Wow.
Nope.
There's tricks we can do. We could shave the tire on the outside. We can heat the tires up. I'm just, hey, dude, I'm not afraid of going and setting everything on 4 stands 10 minutes before it rolls out and hitting them with the heat gun to get a roundabout heat soak, and then boom, when they hit out there, they're ready to rock, baby. That's how it
I
goes.
like your style. I'm not allowed to use heat warmers, but if we were to go and like
You see
drive
this
those
hand?
bad boys on the road and
Yeah.
come in and swap
heat
them
gun.
onto the car,
I'll literally
now we're
rotate them
talking.
by hand. We got, and the thing is, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like when you get locked in with the community. I mean, Jesse, dude, you call that guy, you call any one of these other dudes. We get a chance to work on a race car that's going to actually be out there competing. We'll have an army of nerds coming at you and doing this
Yeah.
thing. That's how we roll.
We can do it.
Yeah, you let me know how big of a cooler full of beer and how many T-shirts. You
Oh,
consider
it's
it
There you
done.
go.
going to be a pallet,
pallet.
if you will. It's just,
Yeah.
but needless to say, again, closing arguments here. I'm extremely proud of you guys, man. I mean, I had a very small part in this. You guys really put in the sacrifice, the hard
Miles,
work.
I totally wish you were there with us. That would have been amazing.
I know, but I wish I would have been there. And I know, I already know, like Mykojima and all those guys stop by. And to me, to be able to like,
He even asked about you, man. I didn't know if I told you. He was like,
shut up.
Yeah. He was like, oh man, you guys,
Shut
where's the
up.
guy with the mustache?
Shut
Oh,
up.
he's here. Oh, he's a real flake, man. He's just whatever.
Oh.
Oh man, I really shouldn't have signed
This is where I'd sign off.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Okay.
my point is, I even to be marginally involved in something like this, I couldn't be prouder, man. And I hope that people are listening. I know we've been going on for 2 hours now at this point. But if you're a hardcore nerd and you're running us in the background or you're working on your own car in your own garage, this is the kind of stories that you want to do. Work on those hard nights. Don't quit. Keep going at it. Good things happen. Do good karma. Put good things out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff comes back to you. Just like we did for Mr. Wheeler. He's going to do something amazing for somebody else. Yeah. Put the karma out there. We're a Nissan family. This is what we're here for.
Hell yeah. By the way, as we roll into our last segment here, when is your next event? You want to share it with anybody what you have planned next?
As of last night, in a successful road test, I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance on the engine, and we're going to go and do some logs, and if everything looks healthy, it's every weekend for the next month. NASA, Gridlight, SCCA, all here in the Southeast. We're just going to keep beating on it. And the next big GTA events, which, like you guys said it earlier, like Jason Deerhart and all the guys from Global Time Attack and Super Lap Battle, they're fantastic guys. They are coming to Road Atlanta, which happens to be my home track. May.
Yeah.
I forget what day
May
in May.
5th.
I think it's
May 5th.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's the first
May 4th,
weekend in
May 5th. Yep.
So we're going to go and do a bunch of testing with this new motor over the next week. Hopefully grab ourselves some podiums throughout it, and then do what we didn't do at COTA. Go and break all the records at Road Atlanta.
Dude, we got to hear about this. Like, once you get through it, however which way it goes, we got to hear about this, man.
We got to hear about it. We need to follow up with you for sure.
Oh, of course. You guys are fantastic. Anytime you need comic relief for these, you call me.
We'll take it, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of something funny, you guys were talking on it earlier, and then we went off to something else, but I wanted to mention this. I actually had some private messages afterwards, but you were saying when the engine first started and that we had a bunch of media and stuff coming around the car, which was nonstop, right? Like nonstop, like from 7 a.m. when people started getting to the tracks, cameramen and stuff were coming through to see the progress, because when they left, it was a shit show and the car was spread out 40 feet across Dakota garage, which, I paid $400 for, so I got my $400 worth out of that garage. When the car fired up, I would never say names or anything like that, but let's be clear here. there was a couple competitors that heard that shit and knew impeding doom was about to go down. Like that blow off valve is so loud, you know, it's making a ton of PSI, and that apparently was echoing because Will had already opened up his garage door. So it was going out of the garage, across the track, echoing off of the grandstands, and then echoing back at all the garage doors. So everybody in the garages knew that this car had started, and several competitors were like, shit.
The monster is alive. Watch out.
Yep. Yeah, so that actually happened. Like maybe a little bit of poo came out of somebody, and you guys did that.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, now you know the platform, and now when you come next year, even if we do some crazy-ish like this again, dude, there ain't no stopping you, man.
Yeah, now we're not even scared. Next time it's just like,
we ain't scared of nothing. We'll keep a spare.
Already been here, done this. Like, what's next?
We'll keep a ghetto spare tire. We'll keep a ghetto spare VHR sitting on a tire in the trailer. We're gonna make that ish happen, dude.
So I have to ask: are you still running that insane tune, the one that ignores all the sensors?
No.
Okay. Because I was like,
danger to manifold. Yeah.
Right.
Danger to manifold.
Which apparently doesn't ignore.
It doesn't.
It doesn't ignore the cam position. To be clear.
If it would, if only it had. Yeah. Well, man, in terms of events, you know, I know we typically, hopefully we've summed it up enough. Is there anything else, any other things that you wanted to share at all? I don't want to leave you hanging if, you know, you have events.
You guys had touched on it earlier, but again, when you have guys like Jason, who runs Super Lap Battle and Global Time Attack, Adam Jabay with Grid Life, you know, these guys are fantastic. So any opportunity I get to talk about that, I'm going to take it. Super Lap Battle, fantastic. Had a ton of fun with you guys. I know we didn't get into results or anything like that, but like you said, there was a bunch of Nissans represented there. Chris Forsberg and Brian Highcutter, I know you had mentioned earlier, they had a bunch of success over the weekend. Austin Hurdle fought through a bunch of really random issues and parts, and we ended up having to loan them brake pads and stuff. Like they had some issues, but they battled and landed themselves a couple of top 10s over the weekend. So I wanted to give those guys some love too. Like there was a bunch of guys that, you know, did really, really well over the weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bjorn kicked butt. I was really proud of him.
Yep.
There was a
Nissan weekend.
Yeah, it was a good Nissan weekend. Honestly, for the brand, I was really happy. Everything came out well. There's a lot of representation. For the time we were there, it was pretty cool, man. And
it really was.
Yeah. And you know, you were obviously our superstar. You were the baddest of the baddest. Just kidding.
Again,
I was just riding on these guys' coattails. My camera's
no, the thing is, it's like we you know, the thing is, we were nice enough. Like last year, you were like one of the nicest people. Like just to like, hey, why don't you just chill? Here's a beer, and we're just like, all right, that goes a long way with us. Yeah. Obviously,
that's all it took. A year later, you're like, all right,
dude, we were just randomly chilling with you.
You guys are just walking around carrying signs like, "We'll work for beer."
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, that's how we roll. So, but you know, if I haven't said it enough, I'm proud of you guys. Let's do something cool next year. Let's make this stuff happen again. If you need a pit crew, just get our shirt sizes. We want the jumpsuit onesies that are flame retardant. And you know,
are we talking Borat onesie or an actual like Teletubby onesie? Like, what are we talking about?
Wait, are we talking furries now? What's going on?
I just want whatever accents the junk
party
and makes that look good. And we're fine. That's it. That's all I need. I just like to, that's it. That's all we need is the dickies, the zip up, the onesies.
There
I
you
don't
go.
wear underwear
Okay.
underneath them. And we're just like, that's how we do. Let's make this magic happen. But honestly, man,
That's
we're
fantastic.
rooting for you for next year for Super Lap Battle. Nothing but success, nothing but good energy sending your way. We're going to make
Yep.
that happen. So if you need a pit crew in Coda, we're your man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and we
we can do it.
got an army of nerds for you. So we're fine.
Sold on
Absolutely.
Coda, and I know I said it the other day, and I meant it, and I'm gonna say it again because now it's recorded, and I can't take anything back that's live, right?
Mhm.
If one or any of you find yourself free on the weekend of the Road Atlanta GTA event, consider yourself invited. It's May, so we don't know if it's going to be hot. We don't know if it's going to be cold, so we'll probably do hotels. So if you want to come, hotel room, consider it on me. Come out, have
Oh,
fun.
man.
You know, this is also the
Dang.
Formula Drift event, right? So it's FD, it's GTA.
Woo.
It's I think they're gonna run GLTC, maybe. I have to look that up. But anyway, it's definitely GTA and FD at Road Atlanta. And I
Wow.
think you've
Alright.
done some pacing laps there. Did you say you guys have done parade laps there?
Parade laps. Yep.
Yep.
we did.
Parade laps. Warm
Yeah,
laps.
that
Beautiful
might be
track.
a lunchtime thing there.
It
I
is.
know that Road Atlanta is normally pretty good about that. And
Yeah.
they always do like the rollers afterwards and stuff. So, you know, if you make it out, there's probably a chance of getting you in the car, you know, a lap or two around the track. So
Shit. Yeah.
scheme amongst yourselves. 1, 2, 3 of you want to come, open invite.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Dude, we've
That's
got plenty of
amazing.
time, man. We can probably let's have that same conversation, you know, from the beginning when you're like, I'm going to let you talk about it by yourselves. Give me 15
Yep,
minutes.
that's what I said.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
scheme
yeah,
amongst yourselves.
yeah.
Like he's trying to make babies, so he may not be able to come. However,
Bring the missus. This is like no.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh jeez.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, we won't talk about my semen at this point.
Yes,
Let's move
yes.
on. I mean,
All
we've
right.
had such a great show.
This has been a great show, man. This has been a lot of
Let's
fun.
Yeah.
let's
No
talk
doubt.
about my testicular failures at this point. Let's move on with our night. But you know,
Yes.
again, kudos to everybody that had a hand in this. Thanks for everybody that's sticking with us tonight.
Yes.
2 hours. This is a record for us. I'm
Another
going to
record.
say, Jay said,
Hands if you're out
by the
there.
way, said Schmedium here. For him, I'm going to say he's
Schmedium.
more of a large because he's,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's like steroiding up these days. And I don't know. I can't see him form fitting in a medium. I would say he's a tight large. So I'm just going to say that. But he says Schmedium, so we'll let him go.
okay,
with that.
these are those tri-blend next level tees. So if you ever got Jesse, like if you ever got those tees that like don't suck, these are those, right? So go in your closet, find the softest t-shirt that you can find, and then see what size that is, and then let me know what that is.
Let him know what it is. Got it, man. Yeah.
All right. So again, you know, kudos to you guys for doing everything.
Yeah,
Kudos
yeah.
everybody for being on with us tonight. Do we have any last minute things to kind of go over before that we're dedicated to? We actually do. I know it's 2 hours in, but we have some events that we have to kind of run through. We've obviously talked about your Road to Atlanta event. I know we got Branson coming up here June 1st to June 5th. Mike, you want to talk about it?
Sure thing. Yes. Branson Z-Fest happening in Branson, Missouri, of all things. Of course, Branson Z-Fest. Registration is open. Hotel is open. Hotel is going to be one of the first things to go. So anybody who's interested in going to this event, which is happening June 1st through 5th, go to bransonzfest.org, register, contact, make some connections, ask questions. That is how you do it. Second event, this is actually a really good one. This is a new one for all of us, I think. Shout out to our friend Ismail. He contacted us through info@nissannerd.com and let us know about a new event happening in New Jersey. I'm going to share my screen on this one. This one is called this is the 4th annual Nissan Skyline Meet and Friends, happening at Princeton Airport in Princeton, New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
June
Nice.
5th. really, really cool stuff. I mean, so yeah, obviously big Skyline
Dude,
meets.
there is not enough Skyline meets, and when they get together, dude, I mean, come on, it's all head turners, dude. So
Yeah.
kudos to those guys for throwing up a Nissan Skyline meet. I love Nissan Skyline meets. If you haven't, talk to me more about this, Mike.
Not a problem. So the event has multiple levels. If you're a spectator, it's $20 to get in. Children 10 and under are free. If you are going to compete, though, you have two levels. You have essentially what's considered a show and shine, where you just go in, you're unjudged or not judged. That's $30. And if you do want the full kit, where you are in full competition judge mode, that entry fee is $40. If you want to, you can go to Northeast Nissan Skyline Meet.com, and you can actually get your online tickets, ask questions, get more information about the events. They actually have a really cool merch site. You have a shop. You can actually buy T-shirts and whatnot in advance, which is really cool to see. So props to those guys. They seem to be doing a really good thing, having a really good job with this event. Again, it's the 4th annual. Website looks really nice. So we'll go ahead and continue to promote this thing until June 5th, again, in New Jersey area. The last one is ZCon, 35th annual International ZCon, happening in Birmingham, Alabama, July 25th through the 30th. You can go to zcon.org to get all your details. I know the big one for this one is that there are 2 track days plus an autocross events. So if for those track junkies, that is an option. I believe it's Barber, and then it's also Talladega, which is one of the
2
tracks.
days. Yeah.
2 days, 2 track days. And of course, that's just one thing of an entire 6-day event. You're looking at multiple car shows. You have special guests, former race drivers, designers. I don't know. This might be one of our first times, considering how the weather goes with this whole COVID thing. We might actually start to see some more Japanese return, from, visiting from Japan. So I would love to see that happen.
And I think that would kind of churn a lot of, those that are kind of on the fence this year, because we're coming off of a weird year where everybody's making odd decisions on what they're going to attend and what they're not going to attend. But, I will say one thing about going to a ZCon, you definitely are getting like a lot of, if you're trying to get sponsorships, if you're trying to get the live feeds up there, or you just want to see some amazingly cool stuff, the ZCons are the way to go. You definitely see a lot of cool things there every year.
And if you think about it, though, this event is July 25th to the 30th. If that timeline was correct, when we were talking about the new Z, that means there will be a few of these new Zs on the street. I assume a lot of enthusiasts will be grabbing it. We might even see a new Z class in the car show. So we might actually see a few of these things in person for those who do go.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, that wraps up events, though. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I know. I wanted to say thank you again to everybody. I know we're going past 2 hours at this point, a record for us at this point. But again, I want to say thank you for the community for all the support. We've actually been growing as an entity as of late. I want to say continue to like, share, subscribe. You can always contact us with any details, any Nissan news. Contact us at info@nissannerd.com.
Yep. You had something. Go for it, man.
Yep. Events. So, East Coast stuff. Z Days. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Never heard.
Yes.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Why did I not?
Awesome dude.
Never heard of Brian.
Yeah,
Brian Settle. Never heard of him whatsoever.
Who's that guy?
Yep.
I will say he's the hottest long-haired guy I've ever met.
That is an attractive long-haired dude. I tell him every time.
Also a guy that shouldn't go to prison. I'm just throwing it out there.
My
Brian,
God.
Does he listen from time to time?
The kind of hair I wish I had. I mean, I don't have any, but if I did have hair, I would want Brian's.
Yeah, he's hittable. He is hittable.
I mean, for a minute there, I had long hair, and it's nowhere near like Brian's.
But in all sincerity, honestly, Z Days is a legendary event. If you're in that neck of the woods,
I'm so surprised.
I've been a few times, and we absolutely love the event. It is a new venue, changing out for the Fontana Village. Mike, you know this better than anybody else. Talk about the event.
Oh, the event is, I think it's been extended to nearly 5 days now. Typically, people start rolling in and like on a Wednesday, and it rolls out until Sunday morning when everybody starts to go back home. But not only, at least the times that I've gone, has been at the previous venue, which was in Fontana. This new venue, much more options, more accessible. It's really, again, one of those social events. You know, they have a drinking night. They have really nice roads nearby.
Too.
It's
Like
friendly,
a lot of the
yeah.
stuff we do, like this, you know, we talk about semen and beer and like all the things, but this is the kind of thing you bring your kids and your dog to. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
That's true. No, it's not. When I bring my kids, not on Friday, but I would do Saturday morning.
No.
Yeah,
No.
not on Friday. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah. But you are right, though. They do have a judge car show at the time. They have the dinners where they have awards, and Brian Settle is a great host master when he gets on stage. A really good time. Really able to bring it full circle with all the things that are happening. That I'm surprised that I didn't include it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's very few events that you go to that you feel like family. And I will say that when you go there, you leave with a sense of family. Because every time I've gone, I've always left with amazing stories and a lot of brand new great friends. And me and Mike have had a great time there. Ion's had a great time there. And obviously, Mr. Will, you've had a great time. So that kind of speaks to the feedback that usually happens at these events. So if you get a chance, definitely go. Continue to support the event, support the community. Again, I love Z-Days. Mike, you have anything else?
Wait, hold on. Wheeler, do you go to Z-Days?
Yeah, so Brian's fantastic, dude. And
dude,
yeah.
How have I missed you the last several? Well, the last couple of years I didn't go because COVID, but like before then, dude, it was a continuous 4 or 5 year stretch.
Yeah,
Man.
and I've owned several Z's. I don't care to say how many. It's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, just I won't. Never mind. That's a whole nother sidebar. I won't get into it. But yeah, I've owned a lot of them. Z-Days, Brian, all that's cool. Also, I wanted to mention Z-Nats. So Z-Nats is one of those things where Z-Nationals, it's a 2-day thing, and one day is one thing and one day is another, and the two normally don't really you get like one person for one day and one person for the other. So this year, Z-Nationals, it's always at Road Atlanta. The first day, it's October 21st. If anybody's watching this and you're in the Southeast and you've ever considered getting your car on track and you were looking for like a safe, controlled environment to do it, Z-Nationals is it. I mean, don't get me wrong. SCCA track nights in America and all that stuff, that's all cool. But Z-Nationals is a bunch of Z enthusiasts. So it's guys that are familiar with your car that can instruct you to get around this track safely in a platform that they're very, very familiar with. I'm an instructor for this. So if you're watching this and it's your first time, we'll have an auction for me to be your instructor, because when we're not in your car, we're going to be in mine. I kid, there's not an auction. I kid, there's not an auction. Actually, one of my buddies, no relation, Nate Wheeler, it was his first time on track, and he had reached out to me like, hey man, I want to do this thing. Can you be my instructor? So I reached out to him and, did that. So I'm unclean this year. I'm open to the conversation. If anybody wants to come out, Z-Nationals, October 21st. The next day, obviously, is over at Z1, and they do the big party, and they do all of that stuff. But for the track day, I'm your man. Even if you guys wanted to come out, again, open invite, stay at the hotel, do a track day. And as an instructor, I can go on his track as much as I want and give as many ride-alongs as I want. So
Nice.
I think one of my buddies, Rob, and I, you met Rob, we'll be out there in our Z33. So
were you there this past year?
No, well, Rob was. I was not.
I know Rob was. Okay,
yeah,
you were not.
he was track marshal out there, or one of the three.
So you're coming back this year.
I'll be along, and we'll be bringing our Z33 convertible.
That man. Perfect.
Yep.
Who else?
Nice. Honestly, that's all I had.
Okay, that's sorry.
I know it's another long night. I'm getting flashbacks. So good flashbacks, but flashbacks nonetheless.
It's an early night. What are you talking about?
Oh man. honestly, Miles, if you got anything else, though, of course, like we were saying earlier, like, share, and subscribe. We have recently had a huge increase in participation through our Instagram channel. So if you find us on Instagram, just go to Nissan Nerd, find us in the search, add us. We are adding content more and more. We're ramping up that content, so definitely find us there. Does anybody have anything left to drink in their hands? Has anybody got anything left? Anything?
No.
We 2 hours and 18 minutes in. Typically around here, we like to say, again, give
This
a
is
toast.
typical of what we do. We kick it in the
Barely.
parking lot until they literally ask us to leave. So this
Yeah.
is how we do.
Yep.
That's it.
Let's give it another
So-
kanpai.
Kanpai.
Woo!
Kanpai.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh, that was so lukewarm. Ugh. Okay.
So lukewarm. I can't wait for the pallet of beer for next year's Super Lab battle. We'll
Oh, it's
figure
gonna
it
be great.
out.
Hold on.
So- Oh my God.
There we go. There we go.
Jesus
That-
Christ. This was
that
a
was-
Dune movie. This was a Star Wars trilogy movie episode. Oh my God. This was an open heart surgery process, like time frame. I mean, oh my God.
Honestly,
Kudos
man.
yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think it's kind of becoming more of a thing. Honestly, I enjoy it because, like you said, I mean, in order to, should we say, well, now there are
Mr. Wheeler, how did you stick with us this goddamn long too?
I mean, I love you
Hours.
guys. Y'all are fantastic. And
Of
truth be
course,
told,
we're amazing.
I drank an
I'm
entire
amazing.
bottle of
These
wine.
guys-
like, it
These
was
guys
the
are
amount of wine that
amazing.
got me through.
Yeah. So
nice, nice. It's like,
you're one of the tribe now.
yeah.
Oh, do we have like secret Dakota rings? Like, is
No.
it like a?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that a
We swap out each other's
it's-
underwear twice a week. I mean, that's just how it
joke's
goes.
on you? I don't wear any.
Well, you're gonna be that guy, a giver, a taker, not a giver. I get it. Let's see how it
Yeah.
is. It's just-
Well played.
it's blood in, blood out, man. That's it. That's what it is.
Ooh.
We all bled a little
Ooh.
bit with that Z, that's for sure. But
Calm down with the blood in. Nobody's eating
Bro.
Chipotle. Calm
It
down.
gets crazy. Who was it that wrote
Anywho's.
"Send it" on the block?
I think you lost both of your pinkies.
Oh,
That's
who
right, you
wrote
ain't-
"Send It" on the block?
Yeah. Nobody here?
Oh, that was Mike.
me, no, I had I have a scratch that was healing. Jonathan, you had a match. You left and right hand had a
Yeah,
match.
you lost
yeah,
your pinkies.
Yeah. They are still not fully healed. I hit one today and it still bled.
Oh, my goodness.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
I had a scratch. Yeah, actually,
That sucks, man. Sorry.
it was one of those first things I did.
Seriously, I'm just like. But no, it's awesome, dude. I'm so jelly of you guys, man. Honestly, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. All night long, every 2 hours, I woke up like just checking on you guys. I was like, they're not talking to me. They're mad at me. They're breaking up with me. They're not.
Oh,
That's
shush you.
But
we
I
were
was
in
like,
the
super,
we were in the zone, Chief. What can I say?
yeah, I know, and then I trained you right. Yeah, you're in the zone. I got you. So.
Yeah.
But, dude, I couldn't be prouder of you guys. But
Thanks.
anyway,
Yeah.
let's drop off everybody else. Dude, I know we're still going like 2 hours, 21 minutes, and we're doing the Ferris Bueller credits run. But
Partying.
Mr. Papa Giorgio is still on with us tonight.
Yeah.
Bert, Jay, again, anybody that hung out and was a lingerer, kudos to you guys. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Drop.
We're going to drop it out here, guys. Again, see you guys next episode, hopefully 2 weeks from now. Let's go for it. See you on another episode, Nissan Nerd Podcasts.